All right. Welcome everybody to not week 4. It's not week 4. It's actually week 6. Action here at Lime Rock, located in Rhode Island or Connecticut, depending upon which Google page you have up currently. Currently joined by Mr. Will, as always. Will, how's it going tonight?
Going good. I just wanted to point out Canada has a different Google page apparently.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair. It's the free healthcare Google. Yeah.
right, right.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all
Uh,
good. So it's week 6. We got a little bit of a late start here, so we're gonna have to kind of hurry up and hustle into a driver's briefing quick. But I will pop up the race info for everybody so you can see what's going on tonight. Normal rigmarole as far as the rules are concerned and everything. We've got a 74-degree temperature day here at. Oh, I didn't change my box. That's not VIR. That's Lime Rock. um, and yeah, it's a good race, I think. Lots of very fast turns. Um, so that should be interesting. Well, we've seen a lot of cars looping it here in practice. So that's been a fun one, huh?
yeah, lots of grass cutting out there. Extra money. I guess they're making some extra money on the side.
Yeah, these mowing guys don't got to do nothing. Great. Okay,
All good.
we're updated. We're good. Okay, so I am going to hustle us up into a quick little driver's briefing while I still have the info page up here. Get all the drivers ready to go. Got a field currently of 22 drivers with us tonight. So let's go say hi. Drivers, welcome to week 6, everybody. Get through our little driver's briefing here really quick so that you guys can get on to qualifying and all that fun stuff. So, uh, Lime Rock, pretty fast, pretty tight, pretty crazy. Like you guys have been having a lot of fun in practice, which is good. Um, just got to be careful getting close to each other in certain scenarios on the track. Will put you in a bad spot. Obviously, turn one being one of those. So tonight, as we're going into our heat, and then obviously the main feature race, going to pay particular attention to everything going on. Check your relatives, and just kind of, make sure you're not trying to pass the entire field in turn one. Um, Ultimately, that will probably end up poorly for all involved. Um, so just exercising some patience, making sure that we keep our emotions off the radio, and of course, please let's not be wrestling cars post race if we're not happy with something. It's just things that we don't need to be doing. We're all here for fun, and that's what we're going to have tonight. So thanks for that. Anybody have any questions for me? Crap, Sean just knocked our camera down. Did you see that?
Hmm.
Question.
Nope. Here he is.
Answer.
D-Mac on the
It's
mic.
D-Mac. Yep.
Which corner can I pass that here? I haven't found it.
D-Mac, the corner that's by the McDonald's. That's the only one you can pass at.
Will says the corner that's by the McDonald's. That's the only one you can pass at.
The, the one with the McDonald's on the left?
No, on the right. On the right.
He says no on the right. I'm saying any turn that you can ask nicely. That's what.
Oh, good
Front
stuff,
bumper has a
D-Mac.
couple corners on it.
Oh my God! Here it is. Good
I
old
knew
stock
it.
car Jimmy. There we
Jimmy.
go.
Good stuff.
I've been passing all of them. FYI.
Get him, Chris. Get him.
Oh man. All right,
Fun
guys.
times.
Well,
It's
if
gonna be a
there's no
fun night.
questions, you know, let's have another fun week, another fun night. Here for you if you guys need me. I'm gonna be paying close attention to everything that goes down in turn one. I'm really hoping we can avoid a full course this week, and get through it. Let the field spread out. Let everybody get on their lines and start making some moves. And obviously, check your relatives. Make sure that you wait to jump back on track until there's a clearing to do so. All that normal good stuff. You guys have just over 2 minutes left until we roll into qualifying. And I wish you all the best of luck and have a lot of fun. And now I can get rid of the iRacing.
Question.
Oh,
How do
gosh
you
darn
make
it.
your voice sound so good?
God.
Oh.
I told him. I told him.
D-Mac started a trend.
Thornton, did D-Mac tell you that there are no bonus points for flattery? I just wanted to make sure you knew before you kind of sold into that bit.
Oh, now that I know that, I don't retract my previous statement.
Oh, shit. Well,
And he's
That's a
really
thing.
trying here.
well, that's all I got to say. Good luck, guys.
All right.
Watching you throw.
All right. So let's take a peek here and see who's out on track. Talk about old Kronhorn Jimmy starting in the pits currently. He's got our top spot right now. Morgan has been chasing, but he's still just behind Jimmy in the fastest lap category, 0.067 seconds behind him. Chris Dowden, obviously, P3 there. Very close to Morgan as well, about another 100th off of him. Morgan's car just jumped. That was something. I don't know what that was. Um, and Brian Beeman's in fourth, and then Sean Ryan right there, just under 2/10 off. Look for Sean to find some speed over the course of the race tonight. I don't think he's at his peak yet. A lot of these guys were in practice here a lot sooner than he was, so
Yeah.
I say it every week, but I firmly believe that Sean Ryan's going to be dangerous tonight, and I hope I mean that in the he's probably going to try to win way, and not that he's probably going to try to like 17 cars way. But
I'd say the most dangerous that he's going to be is him and Tiago again have very similar cars right next to each other.
oh
Tiago
gosh,
in sixth right behind him. So let's hope that we get some separation in them, but not the way we did last week, right?
yeah, for sure. Like Sean's got a little red accent on his lights, and I don't think Tiago has that. So.
Everyone must hit 5 wide.
Oh my God.
Oh God, let's.
Have we talked?
Get him, D-Mac. Get him.
No, you meant to say 6 wide, right?
Even better. 6 wide, everybody. 6 wide.
Oh Lord.
Well,
Let's see. We'll just get all cars in.
Yeah, we're
Voted.
gonna grid
Make
12
sure
wide.
to do 6 wide by the McDonald's stand on the left side.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm fine with 6 wide as long as I get the inside.
All right. Sounds like a party to me.
Oh Lord. Here we
Sounds like a
go.
Happy Meal.
I got Morgan running a lap.
Yeah. Bunch of folks are out there. Here's somebody that doesn't get
Yeah,
enough spotlight
Austin.
though. This is Chris Dow. I don't have. Hold on. I don't think I have Trading Paints up. Hold the phone.
Oh, that's not okay. Now, how are you going to see those beautiful Texas boys' cars?
Well, my screen is just an infinite loading. There we go. Okay. My computer is running great. Everybody knows. There we go. Get that going. That'll buffer out because Chris is definitely
Oh.
not running just a plain Ferrari.
No, I'd say not.
Get him loaded up here. You'll watch him transform like some sort of anime character here in a second.
Can we get the Transformer sound effects?
Only if you make them.
Oh, yeah, no. Where's Cousin Kenny with his soundboard?
Yeah, they're integrating that into Discord now, so you're gonna be able to pull those on command.
Oh,
That
Lord.
is dangerous.
Yeah, fun.
Okay, well, let's get some there. It's pretty close quarters here. Oh, the paint transition spun him out. Oh gosh, man.
Oh, Chris.
That's not what he wanted to see at all. And that was his first timed lap too. That's the bad news. The
Ugh.
good news is Lime Rock is a very quick lap, so these guys are going to have plenty of time to get out there and get their 3 laps in with no pressure. Chris will opt to carry on, continue his reign of dominance. Mr. Eberle Telemake. However, I butchered that. Here's your Texas speed. Well, I got you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
It is all good, man. As we do have some times on the board.
There we go. Yeah.
Morgan takes it with a 50.466. Jimmy right behind him, even closer than they were the other way. And there's Sean. I knew it. There he is on top of the
Yes.
board. Now we've got 2
Uh-huh.
laps left. Let's not get too excited, but Sean is
Hmm.
setting the tone currently with a 50.3. Morgan's 50.47 and Jimmy's 50.53. So
And we got Brandon Dooley and Richard Hibbs with a
the exact same time.
963 exact.
If not for Long Beach, I would have assumed they were the same person because I've never seen them together at the same time. So I'm not saying, I'm just saying. But Brian Beeman sneaks in top 4 there, in 4th place. I'm sorry, and Morgan
Oh.
takes it back. Jimmy strikes back. Tiago takes P3. Quite an exciting little
Okay,
qualifying
okay.
get up here. Let's take a look at
Is
some of
this
the
our
other.
feature? This
I,
works.
I
This is
know,
good.
right? Swapping positions about as much as they are. Good, man. Looking good. Happy that the qualifying board's cooperating with us tonight. Of course, it normally does. We just don't have any patience. But
Yeah. There is that.
Morgan is a 50.06 right now. Jimmy Hayden is a 50.23. Thiago 50.27. Sean 52.93. I don't. Oh, that's last. Okay.
That's his last.
Gotcha.
50.33 is his best.
Good. So he must have had a little bit of off. He's probably pushing. Jimmy went off
Yep.
track, according to my little tracker thing here. So Jimmy might be all done with his times. Let's take a look at Sean here as he comes barreling out of the final corner. Does he have it in him? This will be his 3rd and final lap. Will, does he do it? At the
Yes,
line.
he's going to do it.
No change.
Mm.
Last lap was a 50.5, so he remains P4. 0.6, I'm sorry, 0.268 seconds off. Is where you put that little period means a lot.
It does. It
Yeah.
really does.
So he's up there. Brian Beeman had a pretty solid qualifying performance. He's now 6th after the dust settles.
Right.
Pretty good. We still
Now,
have.
remembering that we're flipping this going into the heat, the top 10 get flipped.
Absolutely.
Oh, D-Mac sitting on that sweet spot 10 right now.
He is. Does he improve? Yeah, oh my God.
He does.
Yes. To P4. Wow. We shot him out of
Very
a can.
nicely done.
He knocked Sean back to 5th. What a lap from Daniel McConnell. Holy cow. That was impressive.
That was. I was about to start talking trash.
I see there's a. I see a lot of people using cheat codes on up there right now.
Get him,
I
Heb.
told
Get
you,
him.
be careful.
Make sure we
Cheat
keep it
codes.
quiet for qualifying, guys, in case people are finishing up, please. Thanks. Yeah, no, Toad's cheat codes, though. I agree.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, Austin is still out there. I think Austin is the only one that is currently trying to get himself a lap, and he does somewhere, I think. Or no, my screen just... Okay. Never mind. Austin currently struggling with incidents, I believe. So he's on his 2nd lap now. 1st lap to have invalidated.
Oh, that one might not count either. We'll see.
But a curb, I think he might be okay. We'll see. Did you get an incident there?
No, it didn't. It didn't pop up. So I
Okay.
think we're good.
Yeah, even as 0x will invalidate a qualifying lap, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
I didn't see a 0x. So
well, I think he needs to. Crew chief in his head just needs to tell him, bring this one home. Let's get a lap, and then you can push on the last one. Get us a time,
right.
Austin. I think he's done well throughout this lap. At the line, he gets a 55.1, so he is 21st, maybe a little conservative, but he's on the board. That's what's important. Really struggling. Oh, yeah, he's really struggling with the handling of that Porsche right now, for sure. It's a tough track, man. It's really fast right up until you need to not be that. And, yeah. It's interesting. It's going to be a good race, though. I think everybody's going to try to get into a rhythm. Here's to hoping that the front group kind of sorts themselves out. Looks like at this point, Brandon Dooley and Rafael Oliveira are going to be bringing us to the green as the front row, Rafael being the point man. He's in that preferred P10 spot as Austin's going to come around the final corner. A bit of a wide line, a little bit loose. Does he
Oh,
save it? He does. Great wheel
he
work from Austin
does.
there. Man, they need to get in there and tighten that car up for that young man. He is loose. But driving very well still, so that's good. Austin finishes up. And he is done. So it's all set. No, looks like he's driving on. Says he's on his third lap there, so I think that means he completed 3 and he's working on his 4th now. I believe completed all of the laps. Kind of continuing on, so I'm gonna let him get to the line here before I want to tell everybody they can start talking. Now I feel bad for cutting him off, but qualifying is a concentration requirement. You definitely don't want people randomly chatting in your ear a bunch of goofy stuff when you're trying to set your fast laps and everything, so I don't think that's going to count for Sean. All right, guys. Like everybody has finished up their qualifying, so you get about another minute and a half or so to continue your McDonald's conversation. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
He's like, oh, I will.
I had a Big Mac for lunch. Does that
There
count?
it is.
Hibs.
Richard
I
Hibbs.
did go to Lime Rock a couple weeks ago, and I had McDonald's on the way there and on the way home. So 10 confirmed there was one about a half hour away.
On the right.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Quarter pounder guys.
How many quarter pounders do we need to make Morgan eat to slow him down about, I don't know, a second?
Second.
So it'd be virtual hamburgers, right? Is that technically a ballast?
Yeah.
Those are not meatballs, right? They're not meatballs.
Oh,
I say
Tiago.
y'all just toss our trash in his ride.
Oh, you can do that too.
I don't think it has 2 seats.
Let's get him a seat.
Hey, yeah,
These
for some in
guys.
Jimmy's, I saw that 49 he dropped in practice.
Right? In practice, yep. Get him, Morgan. Get him.
Yep.
Jimmy sandbagging by 0.2, 0.4. Oh.
Oh man, Sean getting his work in here. Got another about 30 seconds or so. Just a little bit less there as our timer clicks away in the top left corner of your screen. It is getting close to business time, and I have to say I feel like I am a little bit nervous about T1. Well, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit nervous.
Well, Tiago had some practices last night, and a few of the guys showed up, and they said it's real easy to just launch into space.
Yeah.
For almost no reason. So I feel that on pretty much the whole track, but yeah, T1's going to be rough.
All right, so here is our grid, ladies and gentlemen. You can take a look. Will, do you want to take us through that really quick?
We got a grid. There's some cars on it. There's some numbers.
This will be the first race where I've actually had a downshift paddle.
Oh, hey, that's good news. So we got Raphael and Brandon Dooley, 1 and 2. Chris Dowden, Brian Beeman, 3, 4. Richard Hibbs, Sean Ryan, 5,
no,
6.
But I've got a sequential shifter map now. I just got it. So
D-Mac and
I don't have to
Tiago,
revert to
7,
button
8.
shifting.
Jimmy Hayden and Morgan, 9 and 10.
Very nice. Thornton and Joe lead are about 11th and 12th there.
No, I'm glad you guys picked Spud.
Hi guys, good luck out there. Let's try to get through T1 together. It's a group project. You guys are all being scored on the performance of the group, so keep that in mind if you're trying to keep your grades up. Now let's get spaced out. Let's have some fun, guys, and appreciate y'all for coming out tonight. And let's do the thing. So, bump to our race info. Let's pop up a battle box. We don't do that too often here, and we need to get better at it. I mean I.
Right. I was going to say, I'm always gotten stuffs up there, but yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, so back the cameras up to a little bit of a TV3 action here as Raphael setting the tone for the field. He's backed well off the pace car, allowing the pace car to pull into the pits. I'm waiting for TV3 to get off. There we go. That's the front of the field. And it's pretty much on Raphael at this point as he does launch.
Green,
We are
green.
away. Green, green, green.
Get it, Raphael. Oh, 2 wide and T1. Okay.
Yeah, almost a little bit of 3 wide there back with like Sean Ryan there trying to make some moves, I think. Not sure if I saw him in the middle or who I saw. We did have some folks there in the middle. Raphael holds at the moment. Got a little space on Chris Dowden. We have survived T1, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful thing. The chicane is another thing, but hey, I got him through T1, so I can't complain about anything else. Oh, a little bit of curve there. I heard the scratchy noise and I got nervous. It's just a little curve. Breathe,
Yeah,
Ben, breathe.
no,
It's okay.
it's looking really good. We're single file now, all the way back to probably about to 10th or so.
Yeah.
A little bit of separation going on. Raphael is looking amazing up there in front. I mean, good
Yeah.
separation on Chris.
Yep.
A little bit of separation from Chris to Brandon. So looking good, looking real good.
Yeah, Raphael did exactly what he needed to do there. Got out scot-free, got the clean air, and he is going to try to take as much advantage of this as he can. Chris Dowden P2, sorry, not T2, P2. He was in T2 actually, but P2 trying to chase him down and keeping him at arm's length, about 3 to 4 tenths there. Got some good draft on the straightaways, but you got to be patient in the corners too, not to knock your car into. I call them turtle shells. I don't know what everybody else calls those little red things, but it's like when you get hit by a red shell in Mario Kart. It's the same thing. You know, the driver goes all crazy and everything, and your car spins around, and you might even hear a wah or something in there, but I don't know. Maybe.
How's that go again?
I don't.
What was that sound?
No, everyone's turning their sound recorders on now. I'm not doing it again.
Right.
Watch the replay back. Give me some views.
Right.
Oh man. We talked about Brandon Dooley, Richard Hibbs, the BMW clone brothers, basically. No, endurance partners there with Morgan. Third and fourth right now. It looks like Richard stole one from Brian Beeman, and Brandon lost one from Chris Dowden. So they are together on this start here. Good couple minutes into the event. I'm very impressed. Will, we have no real incidents to speak of. I see some folks going off track. Looks like Daniel McConnell ended up going off track at some point, so he's down a total of 5 positions, and he looks to be pretty clean, though. I think he'll be okay. No real damage to speak of on that car. Austin Lauder going for a trip as well.
I would say, here's my thoughts, right? Keep your eye on Brandon Dooley and Richard Hibbs, because I know they're teammates in a lot of endurance stuff. They do regular endurance stuff together. So I would keep your eyes on them to try and help each other get and stay up front throughout the feature once we get there.
Oh, absolutely. And you hear some more fender grinding as those cars ride over the top of those red shells there. Grinding at the floorboards of the cars. You really got to be careful. You can be a little bit daring with them, but man, you get too much of it and it hooks your car and you are spinning in the grass, or even worse, back on track into everybody. Looks like Raphael is starting to come under fire. Chris Dowden to the inside. Is he going to take a look? He does not get the nose in, but it makes Raphael flinch a little bit. Not enough, though. I think he's still going to have a solid exit. Chris starting to look like he was falling back to Brandon in P3 for a moment, and then you blink and he's right back on Raphael again. So not quite sure if they just maybe have some stronger spots, like different spots on the track, different drivers are stronger, Will, or what exactly is going on here?
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you. I'd say each sector, like you said, each spot in the track, you know, a lot of these guys are real good in one spot and not so good in another. I've seen it with Kerry, you know, riding along with him, spotting for him on his PCA races. So that might be coming into play here.
Going for the move again. Chris to the inside. Cars are even. Chris the advantage to the inside of T1. He will hold.
Oh, 2 wide. Hibbs and
3 wide back there. Brian Beeman trying to break it up, and Sean
Ryan
trying to go through.
Sean, no.
Oh, and there's the contact that we didn't want to see. Sean is off.
Yeah.
Into the grass. Like a little bit of damage to the Lambo. I think he should be able to continue on. Only knocked him back to 10th, though, as there's a pretty big separation in the field behind him there. So that's a thing.
Yeah.
Back at the front, Chris Dowden is leading, trying to put some space now on Raphael, who will more than likely soon be under fire from Brandon Dooley and Brian Beeman now in P4, splitting up the endurance team.
Yep.
Trying
Yep.
to be the spoiler, trying to get the BMW off the podium. The Ferrari show at the front at Lime Rock today. That's not something we've had in a few weeks here for sure. It's usually the BMW is coming on strong, but we've got 1-2 Ferrari right now. That's different.
Yeah, and just keep your eye on Brian Beeman. He's got that Merc, and you already know the C4's in the hood of them Mercs.
Oh,
so.
Just got to keep an eye on here too as you take a look down in the bottom right corner of your screen where the battle box is. Chris Dowden slowly approaching Dare Chan and Tom Stevens of the likes at the back of the field. Only about a 7-second gap to them now, so pretty soon we should see some lap car integration into the field, and that's where I think it's going to get a little bit interesting, sketchy. I don't know. You see him up there taking T1 as Chris heads down the Samposi Straight. I read that on that sign there, so that's how I knew what that was called.
Right on, right on. You can read. That's good.
Yeah, I try sometimes. I sure try. So, biggest movers. Let's talk about in the positive direction.
Oh, okay, positive. Right. Well, we got Morgan,
You sure do.
who, was started at 10th. He's up to 6th. He's up 4 spots now. We got Thornton Thomas up 3. Ryan Phillips was up 3. Todd Schwartz up 4 and sitting in P14.
Sorry.
That looks like he's having a good race back there. Oh, we get a sorry. I got to check out the sorry. What was the sorry? That might have been something with Jimmy. I'm not sure because he wasn't anywhere near Tiago. So old Jimmer is going to be trying to come through making some noise. I know Thornton actually got around Jimmy at the start or close to the start. That's why Jimmy's in front of Sean, but he's still a net 0 for position differences. Jimmy's struggling to navigate the field here a little bit. Morgan up 4 spots as they were right next to each other. There on the start is the 1-2 combo ending up 9th and 10th. So be interesting. Morgan's still trying to get up to
Trying not to run you over, Thornton.
his. Yeah. See, there's those mind games again.
Yep.
You're not slow. It's just I'm trying not to run you over on accident. You know what I mean?
Well, keep your eye on Morgan there. He's right on Hibbs's tail, trying to find space to maneuver, but right behind him is Tiago.
Yeah, Tiago, I think Tiago's about to do something dangerous here. Okay, Morgan drops to a defensive line. Tiago stays to the outside. Morgan
Too
all the way
wide.
inside.
Nope.
Yep, no, they're going to stay clear there. And you see Morgan preemptively dropping to the bottom, saying, Tiago, nope, I'm not going to give you that lane. You can go around the high side and watch me take T1 on the inside. Great tactic. Chris Dowden, like he's losing a little bit. I think that might just be some gap differential there because the track compresses. But no, actually he is. The whole field right here.
Oh,
no!
Spin out.
Brandon Dooley gets bumped. He is going to make it back on track there. I think Brian Beeman got into the back of him in that braking zone. All the cars kind of stacked up with the nose to him. Brandon ends up recovering. P7, though, I mean, down 5 positions, but my gosh, he couldn't kill to get some positions like that.
Tap there.
Thornton putting the hammer to
Tap. Yep.
Chris a little bit.
All good.
We have, again, we still got 6 minutes, just over 6 minutes left in this one. That's something. Jimmy now up 1 position as he does get around Thornton, now knocking on Brandon Dooley's door as he's now back down 5 spots from that tap. Oh, gosh. Sean Ryan enters the pits. 100% sure what's going on there. Looks like some pretty major damage. The 9 car, he gets that fixed, and now he'll be back out. Chris Dowden.
Track blocker.
Chris Dowden. Oh my goodness, Chris Dowden is spun. Oh, that's huge damage. That's huge damage to him and Brian Beeman. Oh gosh. That's not great. Chris Dowden makes it into the pits. See here, who else was involved in that spin? I'm trying to see. Looks like Tiago will come in right behind him. Tiago's all busted up. Raphael and Morgan as well. Morgan now back out on the track. That was a huge incident from a ton of drivers. I'm not 100% sure what initially caused that.
I don't know, but we had Chris Dowden, Tom Stevens, Brian Beeman, Rafael Oliveira, Morgan Tegay, and Tiago all had meatballs.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. So Chris Dowden is in the lead here still. And there's, oh my gosh, it was some lap cars.
Ouch.
Oh, huge crash. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was,
Yeah.
wow. That was something, and he gets out of the way there. Ryan tried to call that out. He ended up getting off the track there, but that was, wow, that was unbelievable wreck.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
that was pretty
goodness.
intense. That took a lot of people out there.
Yeah, that definitely mixes up the front order here. So we've got Richard Hibbs now in the lead. A little bit of damage to his cars. You saw he was actually in the middle of all of that when those cars crashed. Even took a little door shot from Morgan trying to dodge to the side. He is in the lead at the moment. Jimmy Hayden up 7 positions. Now finds himself in P2 with a pretty clean-looking car. So he's going to have a little bit of an aero advantage, you would think, right? Brandon Dooley back up to P3. Now probably wants to thank Brian Beeman for helping him spin around and get away from the rest of that field.
Get out of that mess. Yeah. It's like Jimmy and Brandon kind of got lucky, just barely being out of that.
Yeah, my gosh, that was something. I feel really bad for Chris there. He was running a great race, starting from second and taking the lead over. I'm not 100% sure who he ended up getting into there, but it was clear it was some lap cars racing very hard for position, and he just could not make the space work. It just didn't work out for those guys, and such is Lime Rock for sure.
Yeah.
So Chris finds himself now back in, I misclicked, sorry, P12. Sorry, Rashana. And yeah, he's down 9 positions from where he started. As stated before, he's got a uphill battle in front of him with 3 minutes left here in the heat as we roll into the features. So that's an unfortunate one. But
oddly enough, Morgan was caught up in that as well, and he's still up 3 positions from where he started. Coming in with that high qualifying position, so he's done okay.
Yeah, I can tell you why too. Morgan did not end up suffering as much damage as some of the other guys did, and he didn't end up spinning around, I don't believe, so he was able to actually stay right on moving into
No,
the pits.
he had a meatball. He had to pit in.
I understand that, but he wasn't, backwards in the grass trying to spin his car around.
Gotcha. Getting 2 pits. Yeah.
He was able to roll right to pit road, grab the quick repair, and bounce back out there quickly.
Understood.
So he's he just he had a mandatory pit stop for Morgan just to increase the difficulty a little bit. All good.
Yeah.
So
now we're gonna add to Morgan's series of events. He not only does he have to drive through the entire field every week, mandatory. He now also has a mandatory pit stop just to raise the challenge level up a little bit.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about Ryan Phillips being up there in P6 as well, up 8 positions. Todd Schwartz back in P9, up 9 positions, under fire currently from Telemake side there. Be a nice little battle between these two guys. There's Raphael and Chris Dowden all right there. Raphael going to try to make it 3 wide. I don't think this is going to work. Oh, and it does somehow filter out. Unfortunately, Todd Schwartz is the big loser on that one. He loses all 3 positions.
Thanks, guys.
They get through.
Jimmy took P1 from Hibbs.
Yeah, I was trying to get to that. There's so much going on, but Jimmy S has passed Richard Hibbs. I believe that has a lot to do with Jimmy's speed, but about everything to do with the fact that Hibbs is down on aerodynamic ability on the straightaways because of the damage that he does have. I still think, though, him staying out is undoubtedly the right call. Oh, as we see a couple cars off the track here, that looks like both of the white Lamborghinis.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Thiago and Sean. Let's see here. Stop back and take a quick look. I know we've on our last lap here, but let's see. Sean is into the S's, hooks it. Oh, and he's gonna spin, and then Thiago right into him. That's unfortunate. Jimmy Hayden crosses the line with 15 seconds left. This will be your final lap. Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Dooley and Richard Hibbs trying to sort out who deserves second. Brandon says, I do, and takes it. Back to P2. That was a pretty short conversation. Richard not fighting him too much, but like I said, again, he's kind of a parachute on the straightaways right now, fighting through with all that damage. Probably going to be happy to get a clean car back for the feature.
Right.
Thornton Thomas, P4, right now has Daniel McConnell, next car behind him, but gosh, absolutely nowhere near him. 4 seconds to 12 seconds. So Daniel McConnell in P5 is 8 seconds back. That starts the gap of guys that were involved in early race incidents. Kind of funny, McConnell was the first one to spin. So, but Jimmy will
Thank you.
cross the line. P1, Brandon Dooley P2, Richard Hibbs P3, Thornton
Can't say I didn't get
Thomas
lucky.
P4, and Daniel McConnell P5.
I think everybody did there.
Across the line, lots of drivers still finishing up. Guys, we've got a pretty split field here, so just be cognizant of other drivers still finishing their race, please. Guys, started. I got a big race here. Guys trying to get out of the way. Chris Dowden to the inside here. Austin Lauder diving for the ditch. Elamake trying to get a drag race off on Chris Dowden. He will not get there. So Chris will recover to 9th, miraculously. Eberly rounds out the top 10. Raphael 11th. Todd Schwartz down to P12. So, wow. That was something, huh? Oh, I
Yeah,
still have my
definitely something.
iRacing. I don't know how long I had. Oh, I just talked. Okay, so I'm okay. I'm okay. Just had my Y thingy open. Happens. But yeah, so that's
Yada yada yada. Something about Beamers. Yada yada yada. BMW. Whatever.
yeah, BMW top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
Ryan Phillips, I'm sorry, being the first non-BMW in P6 with the Ferrari.
Okay.
All right, guys, we got a 10-minute break. Suggest everybody go stretch out, cool off, get a drink, get ready for 45 minutes here. Thanks for everybody for getting through T1. There's a few incidents, but managed to survive. So thanks all for that. Let's do a repeat of T1 in the feature, and I could be happy. Please, thank you. Yeah. So, oh, surprise transition.
Transition. Surprise.
got a pit lane shot. Oh, okay, I'm not focusing on a car, so I can't do a pit lane shot. Let's focus on a car. Let's talk about Chris. Pit lane 2. Can I see the cars lined? I want to see the cars lined up. Will, where are my cars at?
They're over there on pit lane.
Gotcha. So that was exciting. That was intense.
It was.
I don't really know how to feel about that big incident there that kind of took out the top like 6 or 8 or so.
Yeah, you wanna look at that real quick?
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that now that it switched.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anything I could do it through iRacing. I know how to do it there.
Yeah.
But
go for it.
But all right, well, let's see here. So we don't have anything up, so I'm not.
Yeah, we got 8 minutes of practice or warm up or cool down or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so I think we'll pay attention to Chris Dowden here, as he was the one that. Oh, it's not. Big oopsie lap. Give me a chase cam. Chase cam. Like certain things it wants me to use. Thing 4 and certain things it doesn't. I don't suppose my battle box is going to work right now, but I believe that's Dare Chan. Just in front, and then I'm not sure who's loose here. 66. Tom Stevens ends up just getting loose at it's the worst time, but you can see his car's already starting to get sideways right there, and he just overcorrects. And this is one of those things, no hits on Tom specifically or anything, but this is one of those scenarios where gosh darn near would have been better just to let it go into the grass there and kind of give yourself the chance to recuperate, because when it overcorrects and it snaps, I mean, it collects Chris hard. Raphael immediately hits him because he has nowhere to go. Brian Beeman and Richard Hibbs right there for the collision. There's Morgan trying to check up. Lost Chris. Let's. I had Tom Steve. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. iRacing said no. Oh,
It did. It said no hardcore.
yeah.
So we saw, I think, what had happened.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's gonna kick you out or what it's gonna do there.
Sure, but we're live again, so we should be good.
Okay. Yeah.
Austin's on track. Let's see if my race stuff works. TV2 here and check a battle box. Yep, Tiago is also on track. Very far away from him, so that's good. Oh, let me get my. Oh, I don't have a tower because nobody's got a lap in. I was like, where's my tower?
Yeah, I've got a battle box, but no tower. But Austin does have time.
There we go.
So he now shows up on the tower.
Yep. Yeah, I think he invalidated a lap or two, so it wasn't counting at first. So we're back though. Yeah. Whew. Pretty gosh darn intense. Yeah, I'm just trying to mentally. I apologize here. My acting skills aren't that great when I'm thinking, so I don't have the words to.
Well, just tell us what you're thinking there, Ben. I mean, what is it that you're thinking?
What could have been done differently? What lessons learned there? How things like that. But sometimes it basically just boils down to, guys, racing is a lot of things traveling at speeds they probably shouldn't be on the edge of control, and that is ultimately what happens when it doesn't go so well. Tom Stevens is not the bad guy here. It was an honest mistake. It ultimately caused a pretty big incident, but it was interesting to see how the field continuously shook up. You had a few mini incidents, Daniel McConnell spinning in the beginning, then Brian Beeman and Brandon Dooley making some contact towards the mid there, and those guys kind of coming back full force towards the end of the race. It's very interesting to see Brandon. I think actually Brandon got second, right? Brandon Dooley finished P2 in the heat. I think he got around Richard Hibbs, so very interesting, and to see the gap difference. I mean, at one point Brandon is completely sailed off into the grass, avoiding turtle shells and going through the safari on the side of the track. Meanwhile, Richard Hibbs continues on, and then all Hibbs does is get boxed up in a bunch of wrecking cars, but that aerodynamic damage was enough to make the difference and let all those guys catch back up. Because, I mean, Hibbs had a lead when he survived it, and I still 100% believe he made the right decision not to pit, but it's just wild to see, Lime Rock with so many straightaways, that factored as heavily as it did, on the speed of his lap times and everything. So yeah, that's where my brain's at. And should I have thrown a caution? Yeah. That's where my brain's also at. But I don't think by the time I noticed what was going on, I think it had cleared. So, but Brian made a call.
I think even if you did, it wouldn't have really helped anybody in that instance.
Not sure. So from chat, LaMelo Ball says Red Bull has the best tires. I'm assuming there's a F1 joke in here somewhere. I'm terrible at F1, so I'd have to send that one off to my drivers. They would probably have a good giggle with you on that one, but I'm lost on the subject. Too busy turning left, unfortunately. And then Get Some says Daniel may have spun. A word in the pits is that he picked up a Bud Light sponsor.
Oh man!
So might have to
good stuff.
Might have to ask Daniel about his Bud Light sponsor post race. Get Some. Can you remind me when Will to make sure that we ask him about his Bud Light sponsor after the race? I'd really like to make sure that we ask that question. We're reporters at heart, so we have to answer the hard questions, important questions.
Yeah. The important questions. It's that whole incident with Tom Stevens was all 100%. Was all Jimmy's fault. 100%. Just saying.
Yep. Absolutely.
Because of the cup holders. The cup holders is what did it. That's the hard questions.
I thought Tiago was looping there for a second, then I saw the pits. He says, "You know I will." Thank you, Get Some. Appreciate you. Good times. So, you guys out there, Chris Dowden lapped at some point, but he's now out of the pits, or back into the pits again as well, as we wind down the last minute and a half or so of the warm up here, just kind of giving everybody, not a lot of folks out there putting laps in. I feel like there's a lot of meditating and deep breaths as we prepare to go to battle one more
Yeah,
time.
that heat started out really clean, really nice. Like you said, a couple of small incidents that didn't really collect anybody, and then ended with that big one right at the end. So that's probably got everybody rattled right now. Sean had that early off-track incident, and that probably rattled him a little bit.
Yeah, I think he just kind of falls in that classic category of that quicksand that you talk about. Just like, you know, you make a mistake and then you try to fight back harder to make up for that mistake, and it only leads to more mistakes. And it's definitely very unfortunate. You know, I do not think this season has been a great representation of Sean's ability behind the wheel at all. I just think that he hasn't had the luck that he wanted. Been just pushing a little bit too hard, trying to keep up with these guys. But we've got a 45-minute feature coming up here. That is plenty of time for those that feel they left something out there in the heat to go claim that.
Yeah,
Fantastic
and I'm gonna
that stairs right there.
I'm gonna stand by my statement about Sean too. You know, I called him like Val Kilmer's Iceman in Top Gun. If Sean would just get out there and do what he does best, no thinking required, um, his adaptive skills and his ability to just stay out there and do what needs to be done. I mean, he could just run away with it. I don't care if he starts in first or if he starts in 21st. I stand by that statement that, you know, Sean's greatest enemy, I think, is himself, his own head. And I think if he can get in the right mindset, he can take this race. And
Yep.
then I'll stand by that.
Well, we have our lineup here. Jimmy Hayden sitting on the pole, ready to make something out of something, because, man, he's in a great spot right now. Brandon Dooley in the outside, the starting row. Richard Hibbs and Thornton Thomas make up row 2. Daniel McConnell and Ryan Phillips make up row 3. Morgan and Joe Lee. In the 4th row, Chris Dowden and Eberly Telemake in the 5th row, and then Raphael and Todd Schwartz rounding out the 6th row and the 12th positions on the grid here. Will, it is... how do I put this? It's not up or shut up time, buddy. It really is.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is. That's exactly
It is
right.
time to go get what you believe is yours, because nobody is handing you anything. Not even the leaders are given the break, as we saw tonight with that. So, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a good one. I'm excited to see what these guys can do here as we have the cars staged on the kind of like the back stretch there, I guess as I would call it. The safety car is rolling. Jimmy and Brandon are
Guys,
off.
just a heads up, I just had a realization. The race at the 50 laps, which will complete before 45 minutes. Just a heads up, I just noticed that.
Oh, I did not see that. That's
That
a
was-
great.
Damn it. That was my secret weapon.
Oh.
So does that mean no pits required? Fuel used to be a thing.
I think fuel will still be the thing.
Yeah, 50 laps, 45 minutes. Yeah. Depends.
Interesting. We'll see. Jimmy is away.
Yeah.
We have launched. It's a great observation for sure. I'm kind of glad you shared that. Maybe
Wow.
late. Richard Hibbs to the inside of Brandon Dooley. Richard firing back, saying, "Hey, I've got aerodynamics now, baby. Let's play." Love it. Great fire out. I'm seeing a lot of cars and not a lot of grass back there, so that's good. Ryan Phillips.
I'll tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing those two white Lambos just screaming up the field together.
That's a good catch. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
it's not
right?
for kids though, so don't worry about it. But yeah, these guys
Yeah,
are. Look at
all
these
good.
guys making moves. Bunch of scrunchy
Together.
noises. Yeah, like an art almost. Sean, Ryan already up 4 spots. Tiago Fernandez up 7 from the start. These guys are just carving up the field right now. lots of work to do. They really want to get moving. I firmly believe that. On board here, watching Tiago work around the outside. Todd Schwartz now on the front stretch here, trying to get some draft.
Oh, Sean, what are you doing? Oh my God! Oh my God!
Is Sean doing Sean things?
Now, he's so good. I mean, I cannot. Wow, that was just.
Lane choice there. He's to the
Yeah.
inside of Raphael, trying to complete the pass. He does. Now Sean Ryan has broken into the top 10, up 6 positions. Tiago's got a few cars in between now. He's going to try to keep up the best he can. Oh, to the inside. Whoa! That's a little bit of brake failure right across Sean's nose. No contact, though, and they are good.
No? Yeah.
I think that
Great
was,
avoidance.
Yeah, I think that was that Andrew Storzum, possibly?
Andrew Storzum, I think. Yeah.
Getting to the track there. I saw Raphael dropped a bunch of spots, too, but I didn't see what it caused.
And there's Tiago. Tiago passes right by. Sean got a little loose.
Yeah.
Now they're side by side. Oh my goodness, what are y'all gonna do together?
Well, they're not gonna give. I know that much.
Oh
Anybody behind these guys, get ready for an absolute spectacle because it's crazy. Back up at the front, it's not too much further spread out. Richard Hibbs has second place, but Brandon Dooley has a freight train behind him, led by Thornton Thomas and Morgan. Right there, these guys are trying to catch back up to Jimmy, who has put 1.7 seconds on the field, broken all draft at the moment. So you guys are going to need a mistake from Jimmy, I think, in order to get back up to him, unless somebody's really got some laps here.
Don't count out old D-Mac there, right behind Morgan. He's in that mix, and then Chris Dowden right behind him.
Yeah,
so
Chris is having a fantastic recovery here, just keeping his head down, not letting the race bother him or any incidents that had happened. Chris Dowden is just on a burner now, right where he needs to be, right on the tail end of the fast pack, waiting to strike. These guys all playing very nice right now, though. As you see, very single file, very organized. Now is not quite the time to make some moves. If they stay single file, they may be able to run down the likes of Richard Hibbs and Jimmy Hayden. And Jimmy has sacrificed a few tenths to Richard Hibbs there. I'm not sure if that's, some gap differentiation there, but he had 1.7. Now it's 1.5 at the line. So I think Hibbs has some speed on him, Will. I'm not sure if your lap times can confirm that, but Hibbs seems to have gotten much closer. Get some in chat.
It does look that way.
Get some in chat. Says, I just presume Jimmy's the pace car every race. We do have a car way off the track. Daniel McConnell is off the track here. Let's take a look at what happened. The outside. Yeah, he catches the grass, and that is absolutely a death sentence. So hopefully he can manage to sort that out. But Morgan did get around Thornton. He is now P4 with his teammate Brandon Dooley just in front of him. See, Jimmy's back out to 1.7 again across the line. So it's a battle. You guys are fighting back and forth. But Jimmy definitely wants to keep that draft broken because that is the equalizer right now. And I think he can do damage if he stays out of the draft. But if they get close, they will suck right up to him. Pretty crazy stuff. Tiago's still up 12 positions. That's a cool number to see on the stat board right now. Him and Sean have, I guess, kind of sorted themselves. Sean Ryan now trying to catch Joe Lee. Those guys a good 5 seconds off of that lead pack in the front. But open air is a dangerous thing for these white Lambos. So I don't know.
Yep.
It's a thing. Sean Ryan will more than likely be attempting a move on Joe here sooner than later. Bust up a battle box here if we can, and then let's check some roll bar action. Let's see what Sean sees.
I think Sean's seeing red right now.
Yeah, Sean is on a barn burner right now. A little bit deep into that corner. A little bit of his tires onto the rumble strips there, but he manages across the line. Definitely trying to get up to Joe Lee's number 10 Lambo here, and then catching him is one thing, but getting around is quite another thing, as we've seen all night. Jimmy now entertaining a 2-second lead over Richard Hibbs, Brandon Dooley, and Morgan getting pretty close. Sean getting aggressive.
Oh, I thought he was making it. Yeah.
I think he's setting Joe up here, and Joe hits the turtle. Oh man!
Oh no, Joe! And Tiago followed right behind him.
Yeah, I think Tiago had to try to avoid him there a little bit as he kind of came back out on the track. But that was a great setup from Sean. That was masterfully done. Got him to take the inside line. Morgan does get around Dooley into what I believe is T1. Yeah, and there's some smoke here. I'm not sure. Austin Lauder seems to have crashed, and he's on the track. Yeah. Ooh, right to
he's
the
hurt.
inside
What's
there.
the rejoin on the racing line, man?
All good, though. We will survive. We will be good. Oh, Austin's around again. Gosh. Might have been broken there, and he jumped to the pits. Yeah, so I think his car was a little bit busted up. For sure. So all that going on, frantic, intense racing here at Lime Rock. Jimmy Hayden, 1.8, fluctuating 2.2 seconds back in Richard Hibbs' favor that lap, just about. See in the battle box down there, Jimmy is 8 seconds or so away from Chris Schuessler. Another separate 8 or so seconds forward from that off of Ryan Phillips in 18th. So not a congested back half of the field he is catching right now, but he is definitely catching for sure. Some pretty solid lap times.
Am I missing something? Do we not have... Tom Stevens doesn't look like he's put out a lap in the feature yet.
Yeah, I believe he had left after the heat. Gordon gets really loose there in the final corner, ends up gathering it. That was some great driving from him. Great catch. But Morgan and Brandon are probably the closest cars, or Brandon and Thornton, rather. This is one of your closest battles on the track. Daniel McConnell just found his way around Joe Lee. Going into turn 1. McConnell trying to recover from his early spin where he got really wide in T1. Caught the grass and went for a little ride, helping out the groundskeeper, keeping the grass nice and mowed. But that's not his job, so I think Daniel's a great guy, but somebody's got to tell D-Mac he just needs to go race. Not worry about clipping up all those grass. I mean, maybe
stop with the ground. Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to find that McDonald's too. You never know. You absolutely never know.
It's possible. I want you to pay attention. Sean Ryan's last lap was 50.2. Jimmy's was 51.2.
Yeah.
So
John's got some speed right now. That is for certain. I wanted to highlight Brian Beeman as well, who is now currently up 6 positions after his not so great heat race. So he's attempting to rebound up to P12.
Bad, guys. Thanks, Chris.
Chris is trying to navigate some traffic here. Chris is always one of our favorites when it comes to racing around him. He tries his best not to ruin your line, tries to pull off. Sometimes there's really no good place to do it, though, and I think this will be the case here. Chris is, maybe he lets Richard to the inside. He's right in the middle of the track, so pulls to the inside. There we go. Now Hibbs gets around, and there comes, Morgan is.
Oh, Sean.
And I don't know. I did not realize that Morgan got that close. Morgan has reached Richard Hibbs. He is on rails. I'm not sure if you're watching his lap times, but Richard, it looks like Richard had an incident because he was 2 seconds off of Jimmy. Now he's 3.5, so I'm not sure if that was all from Chris's final corner there. I have to believe not. I wasn't tracking times. Like Tiago has gone off track as well as he's sacrificed some positions. He's trying to get back. He's going to fall to even Brian Beeman here as well. So Tiago's going to fall all the way back to 12th. Now he's only up 9 positions, guys. Whoa, take it easy.
Oh, only 9. Watch out.
Yeah, speaking of 9, and 9 is up 9 as well.
9.
P7, Sean, 13 seconds is a mountain to pick up on somebody like Jimmy Hayden for sure. But, I mean, if there was ever anybody's corner, I'd be betting to try to make it happen. I don't think anybody's going to push the limits like Sean will. So keep an eye on that differential there as we talk about for sure. So he's going to be trying to eat into that 13-second gap the best he can. I'm sure Morgan is really wishing that he could get by Richard right now. It'd be interesting to see what Morgan could do in open air on Jimmy's lead. I'm not sure who's faster. I know in qualifying it was undecided at best between those two. So I don't know if Morgan has the unbelievable speed. I really do think it's Jimmy's race to lose at this point, as he is just about mistake-free at this point. Richard in the grass there
Oh,
a little
he
bit.
was a little
Morgan,
wide,
yeah,
yeah.
Morgan's going to put the pressure on him here. If Morgan gets a good exit, expect to see the 88 to the inside on the straightaway. He's waiting for the perfect time. No. Did Richard get a better pull? No, there's
Yep.
Morgan to the
Nope,
inside.
there it is.
You see the
Yep.
early breaks from Richard just letting his
Mm-hmm.
teammate by, and you see how it very, very seldom affected their actual time difference there. So hats off to Richard, understanding that there's a slightly faster car behind him and not putting up such a fight to ruin their advances. That's a great move from Richard.
Well, and now you get what you wanted to see. Morgan's got open air. Is he going to catch Jimmy?
Yeah, 4.3 seconds is where we're at right now. And it is a close
Yeah.
one for sure. Brian Beeman has caught Joe Lee, who has caught Andrew Storzum, or Storzum had just passed, I'm not sure. But Joe is starting to go a little bit in the other direction. He managed, I have to say, he managed very well in the heat, avoiding all of the incidents and getting himself up to a P8 start here in the feature, and now is doing a fantastic job of just managing that. I mean, he understands that his goal every week is more or less just to go out there and try to stay on the track. He's not considered, quote unquote, one of the fast guys, but he sure as heck could have fooled me tonight. He's driving a fantastic race. So hats off to Joe. I hope that continues as he is tight in the draft here and looks to the inside almost on Andrew Storzum. Not quite close enough, but it maybe made him think about it a little bit. For sure. So gap check here. Morgan and Jimmy has not moved much. Sean and Jimmy has not moved much. I think Sean's got 2/10 on him since we last talked. And that's going to be something.
Yeah, I just want to make note, too. Oh, yeah, a little bit of contact there. Tiago and Jolie, I think.
No, Tiago and Rafael. Joe was off the track.
Oh, Rafael.
And Rafael kind of wasn't ready for the slowdown there. I don't think that's going to hurt either of those cars that much, but definitely was a little bit of contact between the 23 and the 13 there. Joe.
I just wanted to comment on practice. Morgan and Jimmy were some of the earlier folks in the practice when I joined in. They were already there putting up times, and in the practice Jimmy had a 49 point something. I think it was 49.8 or 49.9 or something like that. I don't know. A 49. He broke the 50 mark. And Morgan was calling him out sandbagging in his qualification, getting a 50 point something.
Yeah, I don't particularly think that Jimmy did that too well because he only sandbagged back to second. So
right.
It sure didn't.
I think they swapped places.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think though all that had gone on. So you had the heat race start where Morgan and Jimmy started 9th and 10th respectfully, or I'm sorry, 10th and 9th respectfully, and Jimmy just could not advance through the field. Morgan had way better luck getting up through the field, and then of course that gets him in position to be involved in the big incident there that took out a bunch of cars, and Jimmy was able to just kind of cruise through. But you know, not for nothing, but Jimmy in open air tonight we've proved it's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous to let Jimmy go unchecked in the way that he has. So
Sean went off road, and then when he came back on, a couple other cars got in there. I didn't see what had happened.
Take a look here. Sean's sliding, trying to get back onto the side, and oh yeah, Storsman Beeman. Oh, and that's a bit. Oh,
yeah.
That's a tough one. I think Sean did about all he could do. I just think that his positioning surprised those two, and they didn't quite react. So Sean's 13-second difference is now a 28-second difference to Jimmy. And Jimmy has actually pulled 3/10 on Morgan now up to 4.5. It really depends on where you're looking at on the track with the base fluctuations and whatnot. So it's something. It looks like Brian Beeman is definitely, he's missing the whole front end on that car. So he'll be pitting for fuel. More than likely. Not sure how many laps these guys have run. I don't lap count.
Andrew Storzum has a meatball as well, it looks like.
Yeah. I don't
Is he going to be able to make it into the pits? He is. Okay, he is in the pit. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was looking at the wrong car.
Yeah, his Mercedes is also missing his entire front column there. So big hits for both of those cars. Yeah, that's not how they wanted that to go as well. I think that highlights just an additional pain point for Brian Beeman. He's just not having a good night. Sorzum joins him there on that list. So looks like Morgan has gotten around what I assume would be Chris Schuessler. Yep. Number 1 thanked driver in the league.
Right. I just want to point out where DMAC is at currently. He's trying to pass his other Texas boy, Eberly Telemake.
Yeah, and Eberly's deep into the grass there. Daniel says, thank you.
Yeah.
To the inside, the 73 is through. DMAC with the Bud Light sponsorship straight through to P, or where are they at now? P7, yeah. Eberly actually not on the lead lap there. I didn't realize he had such an issue, so that was not for position.
Yeah.
But
that's just I wanted to take note that we saw both of the Texas cars next to each other for the first time, I think.
Yeah, and Chris brings out a great point too here. So Rashana Trey, not somebody that we've talked about a whole lot tonight. Currently running 16th. I had the number right, and then SDK tried to thwart my plans. Not talked about, but probably for a good reason. Not involved in a whole lot of incidents. A very clean car. And still on the lead lap, actually fighting ahead of Brian Beeman at this point, just recovered from the wreck. No, I'm sorry, Rashana is now 1 lap down, so just barely on these cars as we have Chris Dowden. Oh gosh, Chris Dowden has crashed. Let's see what happens here. Chris tries the crossover to the inside. Oh man, yeah, Thornton did not give him a lot of room there, so I don't. Chris once again bailing off the track very appropriately, so hats off driving for him. But I mean, again, I understand it. You know, maybe that was Chris's fault for slipping a little bit off of the apron, but I mean, my God, when you hold somebody's 2 tires on the rumble to the inside, that padding is pushing you back onto the track at any point, and so when you hold somebody that tight, the opportunity for that to go not in your favor as the car trying to hold the inside car honest is very strong. It's just one of those unwritten things, you know, that you got to kind of take into account for sure. So Richard Hibbs and Brandon Dooley are 3rd and 4th here as we kind of look behind Morgan. These guys, I mean, Morgan's entire endurance team is 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, so that's pretty cool. Boys are doing well. They need a team name so that I can identify them. That's what they need. We got the Texas boys. We need these guys to get a name and figure it out. Let's take a look at what happened here. Beeman might queued up. He said he went off track. I'm not sure. Trying to get around Rashana. Oh, and Rashana gets.
Tough break, Rashana.
Gosh.
You guys just said that we got the leaders coming through.
I'm not sure what happened there. Rashana was holding the wheel almost to the right, kind of pinning Brian into the wall. I'm not entirely certain what happened there.
Thank you.
I'm not sure, but we still see Sean Ryan in P6 up 10 spots, sitting on DMAC's tail. Sorry.
Yeah, he's got a.
Well,
that's
DMAC?
Eberly's.
Okay.
That's
Eberly. Okay,
but,
yeah.
But there's only 3 seconds or so left here, so and the gap just dropped. Did Jimmy going into the pit? Oh, he just lost a good amount of time, I think, trying to get around Ryan Phillips there. He's got lots of lap cars in between now. As you see, Morgan's 3 cars behind Jimmy. Jimmy will be trying to navigate race. Eberly looks like he went off track. Well, Jimmy darts to the inside, trying to put a gap here. Morgan trying desperately to let these guys know that he's coming through. There's a race on the line, and they're in between it. I think Jimmy caught him at the right time, and Morgan, unfortunately, is going to catch them at the very wrong time. Depending upon how well these guys can get out of the final corner, I know Morgan fires off like a cannon.
Yeah, Jimmy just takes off on that straightaway.
Yeah. That's Tigay, or Tiggies. How did we get it? We did get it. It's great, isn't it?
Morgan T.
Yeah. No, it's I
Teggy.
It's
Morgan Teggy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had something in my head to remember that, and then I forgot it. So military settings though on the 88 machine here, trying to get around the rest of these lap cars. Jimmy only
Boxing.
3.1 seconds up the road, so Morgan has 8 into his lead a little bit. He's still got 2 cars between him though, so he's really got to figure out how to get around. There's Phillips pulling around. Great job there.
Thank you.
Phillips, yeah, that's definitely a thank you. You guys are helping Morgan catch Jimmy. That's for gosh darn sure. Jimmy's like, no, hold him up, hold him up. And they're not. Yep, they're just going to give him the space. The 7-up machine, letting Morgan roll right on by. He will now claim all of those spots. Benefited probably about an entire second on Jimmy Hayden with all that traffic navigation. So that is going to be quite something. We don't have our thing set up to count laps. So I'm not sure how many laps these drivers have.
We are on 26 of 50.
Okay. Yeah, so I think Jimmy is correct. I do believe we will finish on laps before the end of the timer. Bit of an oversight there on Edmund's side, but I think we'll look to get that sorted. And Lime Rock is easily the fastest track that we run on this season, and it's not even close. So a bunch of drivers, Rashana, Tiago, Ken Chrisman, in and out of the pits now, getting their fuel, getting all juiced up and ready to go. So you asked the question earlier, Will, if that would require or would no longer require a pit stop for fuel, because of the laps being the denominator now and not the time. But I think with a difference here, if my math calculates out, of probably only about 5-ish minutes short of the normal 45 minutes, I think that means that they will still indeed have to pit in order to make it to the end of the race, because these drivers can't normally make it up to 5 minutes away. They normally are pitting 15 minutes away, so I think you'll probably see drivers cycle through pit stops here in the next 7 minutes or so, up to 30 minutes into the race. I think everybody will have grabbed the fuel that they need. That's my 2 cents.
Right. Yeah, I can totally get that. I just wanted to point out Sean Ryan is sitting just behind D-Mac there. Looks like he might be fighting for 5th.
Yeah, Sean Ryan still waiting for something immaculate to happen at the front here, because if not for the top 4...
Oh my God!
Why?
Oh,
What the?
Rashana, you can't do that.
I don't even
Yeah,
know.
I just came out of the pits. I saw you guys and sorry about that.
Even know what happened there.
I get it, bud, but like you can't just stop on the apex. Just please keep rolling. It's all good, bud. No hard
yeah.
feelings,
Rashana came
but
out of the
for
pits.
next
Oh,
time,
man.
please
And
don't stop
was on the
apex.
inside line.
Yeah,
and
we're watching it now.
yeah,
Golly.
D-Mac went around him on the outside, but it was he, got around him before the turn, and yeah, it
Oh,
just
man, that was a huge hit.
yeah, that was big time.
Tiggy. That's what Get Some says, Tiggy. Tiggy. Yeah, that's a way to put it. Well, that's a very unfortunate end to a pretty fantastic race from Sean there. Pretty great recovery. That was
Yeah.
not how he wanted to see that go. Oh, man.
Yeah, I was watching that happen. I was just like, oh man.
Yeah, it's very much a, if you're trying to let people by that quickly, you really have to get off the preferred line. And it's the predictability factor too, is nobody expects you to stop on the apex like that. So that is 100%. It was, oh no, Sean, I'm so sorry. No, he says it was you guys. You cursed me. Oh man, I don't believe in curses. I'm sorry, man. That's super unfortunate. Hell of a drive though, Sean.
Yeah.
Very sorry to see it end that early.
I'll take that hit. I'll take that hit. That was me. That was my bad, Sean. Noodle King, that was all me.
Oh gosh. Raphael coming in for his pit stop here.
Have we seen Jimmy pit yet? That's a question.
The answer to that question, I believe, is no. We have not seen Jimmy pit yet.
So then I'm thinking if he hasn't pit, I'll bet Morgan hasn't pit. So I think it's going to come down to where this
That's
pit
okay.
strategy happens.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And
100%.
Brandon and Richard, you know, may or may not be in the same boat. Now I'm not sure. One of them. Oh,
No.
now I'm getting them all mixed up.
So if you
Nope.
look on, you have SDK up, I assume. The PC column very far to the right, it's the pit counter. So
Oh, gotcha.
that will
Okay.
show
Yep.
you how many times they've been down pit road, I believe.
Yeah. So looking at.
So
Okay. Yeah. Zeros. Okay.
Ryan Phillips would be the first driver that has pit.
Oh, Morgan is in pit right now.
Yeah, Morgan has dropped in. There's my fantastic view of that wooden staircase. I love it. Fantastic. Great.
Jimmy has not. So let's see. What do you think Morgan's thinking right now? If I pit now, I can catch up some laps.
Well, I mean, it's the short pit strategy. I don't realistically understand how it works exactly. I normally pit ebb and flow to traffic. So if I see that I
Right.
have a lot of cars that I need to pass, I will pit to avoid that. But Jimmy seems to be pretty confident that he can run where he's at. It also does, in a sense, too, as Jimmy is coming down pit road now.
Yep.
It does,
He's going to pit.
in a sense, it does kind of remove the ability for the leader to know how fast you're going. So they it's kind of like you get some stealth laps in there where they can't really figure out how much you've gained on them until they pit. So Brandon Dooley and Jimmy Hayden both coming down pit road. So Richard Hibbs remains out there standalone. Is into some traffic, so this might be something that he regretted here. I'm not sure. Oh, they're going to let him go, though. Seem to have affected his line. Yeah, Nishana taking the access road.
Way, yeah. Yeah, I think that's the same spot where Sean got a piece of him. I did think he didn't want to repeat.
No, that was turn one. You're talking about the chicane there, but I mean, I think the concept is the same, though. He definitely just trying to.
Hibbs going down pit lane now.
Yep. So Hibbs is into his box. Jimmy Hayden has come out. Gosh, just about same difference what he was before. Daniel McConnell is right there, but he has not pit yet, so that won't quite factor.
Right.
I'm thinking of the heat race where he had pitted way earlier than everybody else. So Jimmy regains the lead, but now he's only 2.3, 2.5, depending upon what part of the corner you're looking at, off of, I don't remember whose name I said first. That's the gap between Morgan and Jimmy. Got Raphael off the track there. And to safely re-enter in front of these guys. Quite sure how he off there. We can take a peek at that and see him. Oh, yep. Just a little loose.
Thank you.
That does happen, and then he waits. Find the right gap to get out there, definitely. Yeah, you're already off track, so don't worry about being in the grass at that point. It's Chris giving the outside to Jimmy into that corner.
And Daniel right behind him. Daniel passing Chris, too.
Yep. Daniel's going to have to pit at some point, though. Morgan is not, though, and Morgan's got it right down to about 2 seconds, man. He is going to be giving Jimmy a run for his money here, but I estimate that we've only got about 10 laps of racing left here due to the lap count factoring in here, so that'll be interesting. If anybody from iRacing happens to be watching this, don't make me choose laps and time, please, because if I want it to be time, I'll give you a time. If I want it to be laps, I'll give you laps.
I'm boxing, Morgan.
So just an unfortunate layout frustration that Harry and I tried to work through, and I guess we just did not calculate how quickly Lime Rock would have advanced. But when you have heats, you need to give 2 end conditions, both for time and for...
Daniel just went in pits.
Yep. So there is nothing now between Morgan and Jimmy. There's a 2-second gap all. Richard Hibbs confidently holding P3 over Brandon Dooley in P4, and then it's going to be when Daniel comes out of the pits where Tiago is 37 seconds off the leader. I mean, the gap is enormous you can tell who's had incidents and who hasn't very easily. I mean, there are only 8 cars currently on the lead lap.
Man.
Jolie is very much coming up on the candidates list for Jimmy to pass him. Joe's 2 cars in front of Jimmy there. You saw a little bit of blue. So there is not a lot of space here. So it looks like Daniel McConnell is going to come out about 2 seconds ahead of Thiago, maybe 2 to 3 seconds there. So possibility for a race between those guys as well. Yeah. Working to the inside there of, I believe that's Ryan. Oh, that's Dare Chan, sorry. Both have very red Ferraris. I got confused. And you look at my battle box, it's telling me everything I need to know. I just need to look at it. Now Jimmy sets his sights on Joe Lee. A good 2 seconds up the road. And again, Joe still holding 8, so he's actually, all said and done, maintained his positioning from the heat. He's in a great spot. Daniel McConnell rebounds back up to 5th. And yeah, lots of big movers. Thiago's still up 15. I mean, guys, there's only 22 cars. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's something. Looks like Austin Lauder is going to be coming on a track there. Oops, I'm going to click on Morgan. So Morgan's going to be able to skate by there, but I think that did hurt his time just a little bit.
Well, I want you to pay very close attention to Jolie's car right now, because I have a strong feeling that he's going to be handing a beer out when Jimmy goes around him.
If you caster curse 2 drivers tonight, there's going to be pitchforks in your door by the morning. I just want to let you know. I'm following your directions, but this is your fault again, just so you know. You see Brian Beeman, Joe Lee's next competitor behind him there, back by Morgan. So Joe really can't afford to give up too much ground, but he does have a good little distance between him and Brian back there holding off for P8. But Jimmy is going to be knocking on his door sooner than later for sure. Definitely wanting to get around Joe. Joe, I think, is actually going to let him go. Yep. That was well done, Joe.
That
really
was
doesn't lose
perfect
a whole lot
timing.
of time. Yeah. Just little juts out in the track there where you've got the extra curvature on the side. And it happens.
Yeah. Morgan didn't get so lucky.
Well, Morgan's not there yet, though, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Rashana in chat is apologizing to Sean. Rashana, it's all good. So long as you learn something from it, then it is not actually a bad thing. That's how racing works. So you have to.
Yeah.
Part about being predictable and everything is not stopping where they want to go. If you're going to stop, make sure it's where they don't want to go.
Yeah.
And I don't think you guys are as slow as you think you are. If you would continue on, it benefits everybody greatly. So no worries, man. Shake it off. We've got 2 weeks left. Lots of learning left. Get your butt back out on track if you can. That's what I would do instead of beating my chat.
Yeah. Get them laps, baby. Get them laps.
Yep. So,
one thing to note, we are missing the Abbott crew. Abbott Sports is not here tonight. Did we mention that in the beginning?
I don't think we did. I know we talked about them having an elite race, racing league race that they had to perform in. So by Corey Abbott and Leighton Norgard are not present currently. But yeah, I got a question for you, Will.
5.
Is there any way for me to change the race thing to show laps up there in the top left instead of time? That adjust.
On SDK?
Yeah, is there an adjustment I can do?
Yeah. I've got it on my. Where do I got it at? I've got it set to shows both. It's the race info. Where the heck is it? No, not that one.
Nobody do anything interesting while I look for this, please. Oh. Gosh, no, somebody did something interesting there.
Oh, no. Oh, Jimmy just slid. He's in the grass.
I wasn't expecting you to slow down there.
Yeah, Morgan slid as well.
Oh, good race, Morgan.
Yeah, Jimmy's in the grass. I think that gives Morgan the lead. Yep. No, wait, what? Oh, Jimmy just cut the track off and Morgan.
Jeez.
Dang, Jimmy.
Dude, come on now.
Yeah, you got to be smarter than that, Jimmy. Oy.
Yeah, I've damaged suspension from that, man. That was totally unnecessary.
Oy.
So do I. I mean, I hit the wall.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it okay to hit Morgan. Aye. Well.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
we'll talk about it afterward.
Thanks, Morgan. Okay.
So where does that put Hibbs and Dooley?
Yeah, I think Hibbs is now the best car on the track. Hibbs is 4.8 seconds off of Morgan. Jimmy is still in second.
Yeah.
Close one.
Okay, so who do you think's run the cleanest race out there tonight then? Because you said Hibbs has probably got the best car on the track right now.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Hibbs too, just because, I mean, this is the dude that was in a wreck and didn't wreck. So
yeah, right.
I don't know how else
right.
I don't know how Mr. Clean you got to go with it. You know what I mean? But that's pretty much it. I think Richard gets the Mr. Clean award on that one. So you've got the laps up there. I still can't get the dang. I can't find it.
44.50.
Okay, thank
We're
you.
at 40
So,
on 44.50.
okay, so we've got about 6 minutes or so left. It's going to be close, but yeah. Oh, that's a great point from chat. Get Some says Tiago has run the cleanest race, up 15 positions. That's a great argument. Tiago has had a wonderful race, cutting through a lot of traffic early on. Yeah, I mean I think he's been around the most cars.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Sean were, I mean, just zooming through the pack in the very beginning.
Yeah. So this will be interesting. So Jimmy has actually caught back up to Morgan. Not something that would have happened, I don't think, had not Jimmy made contact with Morgan and damaging his suspension there. So
right.
Morgan's definitely fighting, but Richard is catching both of them pretty quickly. He's got him by a second in the last couple laps. So I'm not sure what Jimmy's going to do here, but.
Oh, they both passed Joe Lee really cleanly.
Yeah, Joe skirted in and out, man. He did it to him again. It's really great job by Joe. I mean, that's why Joe's ninth. I'll tell you what. I mean, if he was having a harder time letting cars by, he'd be much further back than he is. That is why Joe is having success tonight, is because he is doing a heads-up job of allowing faster traffic to navigate and navigating slower traffic. I mean, he's just done a fantastic job. I cannot stress enough. This is easily Joe Lee's greatest race of the season so far. Fantastic. And I'm knocking on wood. I don't know if you guys can hear that. My desk is wood, and I'm knocking on it. So it's not my fault. It'll be back to Will's fault.
It's my fault. Yeah, it's definitely my fault. I'm okay with it.
Yep.
Morgan, man, he's holding him off pretty good. Oh, Jimmy's taking the inside.
This is not a good place for them to
Oh,
be
this
too
is
wide.
going to be bad.
Yeah,
Yep. Morgan gave it to
concede.
him.
Yep, so Jimmy back to the lead. Richard Hibbs now 2.5 seconds off.
Yeah, hard to run with you now that my car doesn't want to turn right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Understand Morgan's frustration on that one.
I'm honestly really sorry. I thought you were clear of me by then. I was just trying to get back on the track. That was a rookie mistake on my part.
You keep chatting, and Richard's gonna pull a hood over both of them here in a minute.
Mm-hmm. I was just watching. I'm waiting for it. I'm telling you, I wasn't gonna say anything because I've already been accused of, cursing.
Yeah, look at him flash his lights back there. He's like, guys, I got a chance. Let me go. What's our lap count?
Come on.
Keep an eye on that lap
47 of 50.
Okay, so we've got
40 point.
That was a little bit close to the corner to let me by, Andrew.
Oh, I'm sorry. I could see the laps if I look at the gosh darn. Yeah, they're right there. Oh my god. It tells you what lap they're on by the hundredth. of a percent what lap they're on. So Jimmy's on 47.1.
Oh yeah, it SDK. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Step 1,
Yeah.
have information. Step 2, use it. Gotta love it. Well, that has been interesting. Sort out for sure. This race has had some serious ups and downs. Yeah, Richard, you guys keep talking it out. Get some says in chat. Yeah, he wants them to conversate more, I think. But I think Jimmy's car is good enough. I don't know if I mean, Hibbs is gonna have to pull something out of his hat here. He's
trying to catch Morgan right now. Joe's actually looks like he's trying to pass Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan is. I can't stress this enough. Morgan's car is broke, and he is driving the wheels off of it. I mean, this dude, Morgan.
Oh God!
Oh, there's the contact.
No.
Oh,
Hibbs got through it. Morgan got through it.
Yeah, Raphael caught a little bit into it there. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hold the brakes.
Oh my gosh.
49 of 50. Oh man, I think this is the point where Hibbs has got it clean.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there. So, yeah, Morgan just gets into the back of him.
Yeah, he couldn't. Yeah, Joe pulled him, or yeah, Joe Lee pulled a move, and Morgan just doesn't have total control.
But he rolled all the way across the track.
Thanks for waiting, Chris.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that could have been bad. That's a great point by Brandon.
Yeah.
You gotta. Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was just nothing Morgan could do with his broke car, I think. Yep, and here we are, white flag.
Yep, white flag, lap 1 to go. Jimmy Hayden is 3.5 seconds out in front of this now with that incident. I'm pretty sure that's all but cast this lead up for him unless he makes another mistake. Richard Hibbs has an opportunity to pull one over here on Morgan if he gets to him. Very tough to pass, though, and Morgan has been soldiering. Yeah, Morgan couldn't control that. No, Morgan shouldn't be driving. Lesser men would have crashed by now. I don't know how he's doing what he's doing, and I'm very bummed for him, but also extremely impressed that, I mean, he got wrecked and he's still second. That's crazy. Not sure what the feelings will be here in the post-race interviews, but Jimmy Hayden manages to come across the line, so he will win. Morgan will grab P2. Richard Hibbs. I'm sorry, Richard Hibbs? No.
Oh no, Morgan got P1.
Jimmy gave the
Jimmy
lead
gave it up.
Yep. Jimmy gave it to Morgan and Richard.
Class act, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Tried to keep second, but oh well.
Yeah. Still. Yeah.
Yeah.
Class act.
That's one way to handle it for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he knew what happened. He knew what was going on.
That's what I'm telling you. It was not an on-purpose thing. It for sure wasn't. And Jimmy knew he made a big mistake there, and he doesn't take that lightly. So Thiago will come across P6, officially 15 positions ahead of where he started.
Thiago.
Yep.
Man.
Gordon's going to bring it home. P7, Brian Beeman is going to be one of our last cars to finish here in P8, just kind of sorting out. Todd Schwartz is right there as well. And then I think Andrew Storrs him. Yeah, so all drivers have officially finished. Hey guys, all drivers have finished. Yeah, that's.
Yep, just under a minute to go. 45 seconds.
Yep. Wow.
Thiago, you were stressing me out.
Yeah, I was watching that one too a little bit. That was good.
Yeah, that was really good.
I tried. Unfortunately, got blocked there. The chicane really wanted to catch you in the last opportunity. But you were holding off. Great job.
All right.
Yeah, half a second closer. I would have made a mistake, I promise.
Well,
Thank
if
you,
you
everyone.
wanted,
Had a good time.
if you wanted action, yeah, there's Chris. Thanks, Chris. If you wanted action, you absolutely got it. That's for certain. I am kind of, again, brain is just stuck in processing neutral.
So do we want to grab some folks over and start the interviews?
Yeah, I think if you want to pop over and chat with some of them before you pull them automatically and just ask who really wants to chat. Emphasize that if they don't want to for the right reasons, then they are obviously not obligated to do so if they don't want to. But
yeah. You might want to let the drivers know before they bolt, but yep, I'll be back.
Okay. most everybody has both. It was some great racing tonight, guys. Had some other incidents, some things that I think we definitely need to work on, some rejoining and holding the brakes and stuff when we have incidents. I understand frustrations happen, when you're getting in incidents and everything, but we've got to really pinpoint how to wreck, I guess, more responsibly, because there was a couple instances cars kind of just went limp and just kind of went wherever, with no brake holding after they were spun, and it either did or almost caused some really nasty incidents. So, again, please, if you guys are still here, I know a bunch of you popped out already, but if you had an issue with somebody, or a scuffle or whatever, I highly recommend maybe giving it tonight. But reach out, communicate with these guys, have a conversation about it, work through what happened, and try to learn something as we roll into next week. But on to week 7. Thanks all. Appreciate the patience in T1 specifically. That's what I asked for, and I got it. So appreciate you guys as always, and we'll be talking soon.
Excellent.
We are organizing our chats up in Discord here as well. If anybody wants to come in and chat about the race, they're more than welcome to. If you don't, or don't think that you're going to have too many nice things to say, I definitely okay with you not doing that tonight. But you guys are always more than welcome to come up and chat with us about the race. Thanks all. And Daniel, I cut you off, so what were you saying, buddy?
I was saying thank you, race control. Excellent race controlling as usual.
And a beautiful voice.
To be real,
Angelic even.
be real with you, I don't think I did anything race control wise.
That's the way we like it.
Oh God.
Just kidding.
Jesus. Oh,
I'd love
Daniel.
it. I'd love it if you could race control some of the obvious ballast I have in my car out of it. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks. It's the only reason I could possibly be so slow. No other reasons at all.
Gotcha. That's right, Thornton. Okay, fair enough. All right, Will, you've brought me a bunch of people. There are people in here.
I did. I corralled them. I used a whip, chains, everything.
Jesus.
Well, Jimmy liked the chains, but
Oh, no.
yeah, yeah, brought some folks over.
Oh, well, that was an introduction. So I guess feel free to continue.
Not for kids.
Yeah, no, definitely not for kids. You saved the F-bomb earlier, though. I'm proud of you for that. That was
I don't know
good
what
for
you're
you.
talking about.
Exactly.
Never happened.
Yeah. Well, it didn't. You did. So
Yeah.
I guess feel free to pick your first target here, and I'm gonna let you lead tonight. If I have a question, I'll pop in. But I think you're fired up. You got this. I believe in you.
Okay. Awesome. Chris Schuessler, let's start with you. How many AK-47s did you have in your car during this race? That's my hot topic question.
I've made a mistake.
Well, today was a good day.
Excellent reference. I love it.
It was a good race for me. I had a lot of fun. I was slow, but that was okay. And then with it being such a short track, I was kind of going into this race, kind of concerned about dealing with lap traffic and trying to manage my own race and kind of keep an eye on everyone else's. But it wasn't a problem for me, which was nice. So I was able to sort of just make sure I found the spots to let people through, and that worked out well for me. And just had one or two like little offs, nothing big. And so sort of thinking or considering all of those things, I'll take it. You know what I mean? It's good practice. Everyone's super competitive. Everyone's quick, and again, just being in a group like that will just make me better. So I had a good time. I was disappointed for Rashana. I compare my race a lot to his race, and he was super quick today. He was like a lap ahead of me, and I started behind him in the feature, and he just pulled away, and I just couldn't stay with him. So he just must have been, prepared. Maybe he practiced a lot. Maybe he's done this track, in the past. But he was great, and then he had an incident or maybe two. I'm not real sure. That required him to pit. And then he got down a lap, I believe, and unfortunately then he disconnected, and so that was a bummer for me. Stuff like that can be discouraging, I know, to have incidents on track with folks and to, not want to have to finish your race for whatever reason, being that, um, there's just stuff on track or, um, comments, made during the race. It's tough. So I was discouraged to see him not finish with me. So I don't want to be like too long-winded on all that, but I think one thing that is important in our league is to just protect the integrity of our league. We're here to have fun, and I think it's important that no one ever feel so discouraged that they don't want to participate anymore. So I just wanted to put that out there, and like I said, I don't want to sound too negative, but we're here to have fun, and that's why we do it. That's why we dumped all this money into the equipment to do this, and once you stop wanting to do it, what's the point? So
right on.
Yeah, that's all that I got. So I had a good race with everyone. Thanks for the competition, and looking forward to the next one.
So job
Right,
Chris.
awesome. I think Chris, Ben had said at some point tonight, and I think it's been said a bunch, that you're probably the most thanked driver in the league. It seems like you're getting these I don't what do you call them, where you're letting the faster guys go around safely. You're getting the hang of that really
I mean, I'm
well.
trying.
Yeah.
I have definitely been guilty of trying to let folks by and getting in the wrong spot. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Right.
heart in the right place, but vehicle in the wrong place. You know what I mean? So, yeah, just trying to get all of it right, and someday it'll all come together, and I will be more competitive, and that won't even be a factor. But yeah, no, I appreciate that. So.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like I said, you've been called the most thanked driver, and Ben, you heard him. This is Chris's league, not yours. Chris's.
I'm good with it.
Just saying.
Does he want to try RC or?
I'll have to sit one out and join you on the
Yeah.
RC, maybe.
That'd be fantastic. Check an oval race
Yeah.
out too. That'll open your eyes up.
Well,
Oh,
thank you guys
man.
for everything. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Really appreciate you, man.
All right. I found a couple more folks, so
I
the
see
list is
that. I see
longer.
it. Is that Rashana is in there?
Yes. Yeah. Rashana and
We
Thornton.
talked about, yeah, Chris is he was missing his road dog last week. Rashana, I see Rashana is here now. Some unfortunate stuff happened to you tonight, Rashana, but Chris had said you started off the race like a bat out of
You can
hell.
say it. Yeah,
You
say it.
just
It's fine.
yeah, I mean, you went to town. Chris was like, "Yeah, I'm used to racing with him because we're kind of similar speeds, but somewhere you found that extra speed tonight." And where did that come from? Did you practice some more?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Lime Rock tonight. I mean, including practice today, I'd say I put in like 100 laps, so I was feeling confident
Nice.
enough to, put up some good numbers. Not as good as the top 10, but I really enjoyed the track. It was just, really tricky figuring out how to get in the way, and I know I've got a lot to learn because, I've just gotten to organize racing like this year, right? So figuring out pit exits, pit entries, pit limiters, like that's all new stuff to me. So, I really felt bad. First off, I want to apologize to Sean because I really felt bad about that. And like you see a blue flag immediately, your instinct is to slam on the brake, and like Jimmy got by me thankfully, but like, I thought, since he got by that, I should be okay, but obviously I wasn't. So yeah, like I know I have a lot to learn, and then I tried hopping back on, but then just it was just too I was too rattled by that to kind of figure out how to navigate my car and let people out by me and stuff like that. So I was sweating from that than the actual race. So
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it can be real tricky, especially when you get rattled. I mean, being new, and I can only speak about being new because I've only been on a few tracks, but I know it can really rattle you when you do something wrong and affect other drivers on the track.
Yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from on that, but it's good to see you back tonight. We missed you last week. Or Chris especially missed you last week, but this is a great place to learn, and the guys are
Yeah.
they're a little heated tonight, because a lot of stuff went down tonight, but you know, overall it's a great place to learn, how to do things good, or well.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a great league. I love that everyone's so welcoming and patient with everyone. And I'd say, like, other than Ben, because Ben's great, Chris has been like the best thing about the league because he's been so encouraging,
Right.
and he told me to try oval racing last week. I'd never done it. I knew nothing about it. I learned what a lucky dog was, but like I had fun. I enjoyed it, right? Like, so like to hear that Chris, tell me that, hey, you're gonna have fun, try it. He's been a really big help.
And that's why it's Chris's league.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's why it's his league. Yeah.
Yeah, Chris, you're the best.
Right? Absolutely.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, chin up for Shauna. I mean, stuff happens. Everybody makes mistakes, and I know, like Chris said, car in the wrong place, heart in the right place. So just something to learn from there for sure. And like I said, let's start these conversations. If you've got questions about things that you can improve on or what to do better, like you and I sat down last week before the oval race and worked through some things. I know Sean is right there as far as being helpful and having great pointers and tips. A lot of these guys are. So do not be afraid to ask questions or like what should I have done differently or anything like that. These guys are more than willing to help, and it goes a long way when you make an attempt to get better and to seek to understand the scenario. You know that's going to go a
Yeah,
long way with these guys. So
for
thanks for
sure.
that. But glad you had some fun. Sorry that you couldn't finish it out, but on to next week, and
Yeah.
you'll be good to go, man.
All
Good
right. Thanks so
stuff.
much, guys.
Yeah.
Go Leafs, go.
um Yeah. I just wanted to point out too, there's some folks in here that's got some YouTube videos up there to help, starting drivers, and I'm gonna throw Morgan stuff out there specifically because I just saw it this past week. But there's some videos out there for etiquette and when to pass and how to pass and all that stuff out there.
He's got a
And
video on how to wreck properly. I just want you to know that.
right,
That's
right.
that's
But
fantastic knowledge.
it's one thing to see it from some just random dude on YouTube, but it's another thing to see it from a guy that you race with every week. You know what I'm saying? So, take it for what it is. But just those things are out there as well.
Great point, Will. Good point. Did anybody reach out about a specific? Like I know sometimes we have people that are on a timer. I don't want anybody to have to miss out.
Nobody say anything to me. I don't know.
Okay. DM me if you guys are on a timer. Will's just gonna
Yeah.
pick at random. So
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna random like right now. Thornton Thomas, um, great. Great. You had a great run, and then something happened. I'm not really sure exactly what had happened, but tell me about how your race started out.
Yeah, that was um so what I was in like fourth or fifth, and I was like going along pretty well. And I think it was Chris Dowden.
Yeah, it was me.
Okay. Um, who we were having a little bit of a battle. Oop, I just threw my keyboard.
oh,
Um, not on purpose. Uh, um, but yeah, we were having a little bit of a battle, and I looked back at the replay. It looks like I was probably not the smartest to squeeze him to the inside, but I think I left him enough space. He got up on the curb and just understeered into me in turn one.
Oh, that one,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and then we let, I don't know, 5, 6 cars go by before we were able to rejoin safely.
yeah,
So,
that's the train effect for sure. Yeah, I watched that live and I looked back at it as much as I could from like a TV2 cam once while everything else was still live, panicking that I didn't miss anything else. So take that for what it's worth. But um, that's just some tough racing, guys. I mean, that's just what it is. It was two cars really close to each other. You know,
yeah,
that stuff happens.
in hindsight, it wasn't smart to be racing that hard that early. There wasn't any point. So I really shouldn't have just should have let him by. Because I mean, I cost myself more fighting it than I would have.
Hmm.
So I probably should have just just laid back a little bit. But yeah, after that, I just, put in consistent lap after consistent lap. I only got one X, and that's really been my goal this season, is to not get points. So besides the spin, which is a 2X, I got a 1X trying to navigate a lapped car. I just it was one of the times where, a lapped car chose maybe not the best spot to let me by, and I got a little bit spooked and went off, but it was a good race. Just consistency and not getting points are what I'm going for, and this race I did that. So
Right on, man.
yeah,
Right
Probably
on.
all right.
probably
Right
helps
on.
that you had a downshift paddle this time, eh?
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. That was going to be
yeah,
my next thing.
probably.
Yeah,
We were
we're
working
I
on that
just,
last night.
yeah.
yeah. I just want to clarify. Your goal is to not get incident points, not to not get placement points, championship points, right?
At, at,
Just
at
just to
this
clarify.
point, at this point, I don't think I'm getting many of either.
Yeah, we're fine with either one of them not happening.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, no, I haven't looked at the championship points at all, actually. I
Yeah.
don't imagine I'm very high up because I missed the first two races.
Well,
But
we got 2 drop weeks, so it'll factor in. But I
Yeah.
gotta get in there and make some updates too at a couple
Mm.
car swaps that I need to get after. Thinking
okay.
admin being stinking slow at his stinking job.
Yeah,
But
those admin guys. But
yeah,
yeah, it's
terrible.
P7 as a great finish tonight. I mean, considering everything else that happened, I think that was good. And you have a downshift, so bonus, right?
Yeah, yeah. But P7 back from what we were like. I think Chris and I were down in like 13th post
Yeah.
spin, something like that. So it was a decent climb back up. It's not too bad.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Great recovery. Great job tonight, Thornton.
yeah. It was a good race. Good race from everybody. Thanks.
Bill, next.
Uh, and the other side of that coin is also Chris Dowden. So I think we should go ahead and hit him up. Similar situation, fought his way back up to P9. So yeah, let's hear from Chris.
Yeah. No, real fun. I love Lime Rock, although I've never raced these cars there. It's always been V's. So yeah, Thornton, I'm real sorry about that. I was having so much fun. You were putting on an amazing defense, and I saw a gap and was like, this is the chance I have to get around this guy. So it was fun until it wasn't fun. So real sorry to take us both out. Great recovery, P7. Happy to see you were able to come back and have a good time after that. But yeah, it was a fun race, fun track. The heat was a little disappointing.
Yeah, I was gonna say talk me through that leading, and then some lap cars kind of exploded in front of you there. That was
Yeah, I maybe could have anticipated it happening. I was carrying so much speed through that second to last turn so consistently, and I didn't have anywhere to go.
No,
So
I don't think that's anything you could have done, and I don't think it was Tom Stevens ended up being the one that got loose there. It wasn't anything he did intentionally. Just
yeah, it
lots of
happens.
points on the track where the downforce kind of disappears on the car a little bit, and it gets really loose in your hands, and just a little bit of an overcorrection there, unfortunately, at the absolute wrong time. I mean, if you were a half a second behind him, he would have sailed right by you, and there wouldn't have been any incident. So it's just how things work out. For sure,
Yep.
but you put on a great show tonight, and then obviously, you having fun. Position doesn't mean anything. You guys aren't racing for millions of dollars, so if you had fun, that's the important part. So I'm glad to hear that you said that you did indeed have that. So great stuff, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, and Thornton, sorry about it. Hope we can have a good race next week.
Yeah, but I mean, the move was on, and if you had pulled it off, it would have been a nasty undercut.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking when I went for it. I was like, this is
Right
gonna be
on.
awesome.
But it was in fact not awesome.
And then it wasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, such
It was
is
awesome
racing,
until
man.
it wasn't. Yeah.
Hey, well, just to point out though, if that wasn't a very realistic outcome constantly in racing, then when the moves actually did work, it wouldn't be anywhere near as cool. because you know how hard it is to pull it off and what can happen when it's not an inch one way or another. But the attempt was there. I think it was fair. Like I said, I didn't see any malice or issue with it. I don't think I would have advised any penalty had I been doing that all season anyways. So I think it was good stuff. Interesting talking point, and we caught it. So it was it was a great move. It was a great attempt. Super exciting for sure. So thanks, guys.
Oh man, I gotta bring in my boy next. One of the two white Lambos of the evening. Tiago and Sean started together. I mean, at the start of the race, I was like, watch these Lambos, they're moving, and they just ran through the pack. I mean, just like a bat out of hell, straight through everybody. Was just making moves right and left and whatever. Um, and I know Tiago had a practice last night, and a bunch of the guys showed up or whatever, and it was just talking about, launching these cars into space. And I was like, I didn't see that tonight. Nobody launched into space. I was a little bit disappointed in that. But Tiago, man, you rocked it out. I mean, I don't know. There was a lot of things that happened tonight. Overall, you ended up in P6. So, I mean, up, been, how many spots is that? Up
15.
how many?
15
Yeah,
from
out
the
of
start.
what, 22?
Yeah, there's 22
So,
cars on track
yeah.
tonight. So
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome run, Tiago. I mean, amazing. It is my fault. I take full responsibility for talking about the white Lambos and Sean's run and everything. So that's all on me. But yeah, tell us what you were thinking when you were going up 15 spots.
Well, I was thinking, why did I forget how to drive during the heat? And then I proceeded to forget how to drive between laps like 10 and 40 of the feature as well. So not ideal. I wouldn't recommend that for anyone that's getting into racing.
gotcha.
Um,
Could have fooled us, but continue.
so yeah,
Right.
no, I also have to apologize to Sean because I kind of destroyed him in the heat. So not fantastic on my part. But no, had fun. Lime Rock is a great track, albeit a little short, which causes some chaos, which we saw
Yeah.
plenty of tonight, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Very much. Yep.
But yeah, I was just like, just keep this car pointing straight and go and just get into a flow state and try to drop some laps. I also want to give a lot of credit to DMAC for holding me off at the end there. I was hoping for a mistake. I just couldn't catch up.
I like it.
Oh man, that was
Oh
awesome.
man.
Tiago, you're one of my favorite drivers to watch, man. You always will be. And it was crazy watching you and Sean basically play how many cars can I pass in this corner at the launch. That was probably one of my favorite moments of the race tonight. You guys were just like, it was like you had another cylinder on the rest of the field, and you actually have a few realistically, V10s, but it was wild. It was so wild. And I hope at least for some of that it was fun, because man, it looked fun. It looked like I would have wanted to have been in the passenger seat riding along with you. It was just absolutely crazy. So awesome job tonight. Way to bring it back to P6. I know obviously you wish you would have not had to start so far back, but that's that no quit attitude that makes you one of my favorite guys to watch. So great job, Tiago.
Mhm.
I appreciate it, Ben. You're one of my favorite race control.
Thanks, buddy. I
Right.
sure try.
Yeah. I take responsibility because I said at the beginning, these two white Lambos again, they're right next to each other, at the race start. And I was like, we need to see some separation. And just like last week, we saw some separation, not the type we wanted to see. And that's my bad. And that leads us into the next two. We had Richard Hibbs and Brandon Dooley. And I said at the beginning of the race for them too, I was like, watch out for these guys because, they're very consistent in their driving, and they practice together a lot. So watch this duo. And sure enough, throughout the entire thing, they're together pretty much the whole way. I said at the beginning, and then after what happened with the white Lambos, I was like, I'm not going to mention them again. I'm not going to say it because at the end, I was like, here they come. They're going to capitalize on what Jimmy and Morgan had done, and these two are in position to capitalize on that. I was like, I'm not going to say anything because I'm not going to curse them too. So, Brandon, talk about what happened with you, because I think you were leading it, right? I think it was 2 and 3 at one point. You were 2, he was 3, or something like that. And what had happened
Are
for
you
you to
talking
fall
the
back?
feature?
Yes, the feature, right, the feature.
Yeah, so he obviously undercut me yet again in the pits. Took a little less fuel. Yeah, his calculator in his head does much better than what mine does, and I always I'd rather have 2 gallons too much than have to make another pit stop. So I usually
right there with
always
you.
go on the side of caution and put more in. Yeah, I'm not sure. He definitely undercut me in the pits, and then I think I hit the curbs and the chicanes a couple times and just couldn't catch back up then after that. No, it was all good. Yeah, we've both kind of got very, very lucky in the feature, or in the sprint, I'm sorry, with some issues. So I think what saved me was actually getting tapped into the chicane,
He
and
said that.
then a 3-second penalty to bleed off for being off track and cutting the track coming back on. So I think that eventually played into some kind of karma out the other end, and then I was able to sneak through. Rich somehow snuck through all that mayhem on the downhill. But yeah, it was good. Just again, I'm gonna run my laps, and if it puts me in a good spot, it puts me in a good spot. Starting P2 here is tough, and I had to do it in both races just because you're on the outside and tough to see who's up the inside. You're just assuming someone's going to be there, so you go, pretty timid into one just to make sure you're not cutting anybody's nose off. And so I think each time I lost a spot immediately off the start, but I was cool with that, prep for that, just and then let the race happen and adapt as it goes along.
Right on. Well, Brandon, it was another great race for you, man. Like you said, in your little description there, talking about just running your race, running your laps. I can really respect that. You just kind of roll with the punches. Like you said, you got tapped earlier on or whatever, and I'm sure it didn't take a lot of tap there to get you to loop around in that spot with the heavy braking, but it did happen. And then, I was telling Will, I was like, man, I think he lucked out being separated from that incident, because had he been up there where he was
Oh yeah, I'm
when that
sure I would have
crash
been
happened, yeah,
spinning
Right in the
down the
middle of it.
downhill with everyone else there instead
Yeah.
of kind of knifing my way through on the downhill and trying not to lose it myself. And
yeah,
I saw whoever I'm not sure which car it was, if it was like a black Lambo or something, that I could see it at the top of the hill sideways, and that was all I could see.
yeah,
So I'm like, oh, that won't be bad. He's sitting still. I'm just going to go around. And then as I crested the hill, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a lot more at this
yeah.
party than I expected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was actually Chris's Ferrari sideways there as he
Okay,
got
yeah.
collected. But I mean, 2 times tonight, and Chris, I know you're not here anymore, but 2 times tonight, he was completely 180 degrees to the track in the middle of the track, and he threw it in reverse and drove it almost into the wall to get out of the way, both times. So awesome job for him. I mean, unfortunate that he was in those situations twice, but again, that's the kind of stuff that you really need to promote as the right way to do things, as far
Yeah.
as trying not to congest the track. I mean, that 808, that thing was destroyed. We watched him roll into the pits.
Oh yeah,
I,
it
I, I
was
don't.
rough.
I think we maxed out the iRacing damage model on that one, man. That thing hit every part of that car. Thank God you
And
guys don't cut tires on debris.
this is the same Chris that still finished in the top 10, right?
Yeah, he got 9th.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So, doing the right thing doesn't mean you're going to necessarily lose positions. I mean, you're going to lose some positions, obviously, but yeah, great run though, Brandon. I mean, I called it at the beginning. I was like, you two, just keep an eye on you two, and that leads us into Richard Hibbs. I think going through that mess, and Ben had mentioned it at some point. Hibbs probably had the cleanest car on the track after everything was said and done. Again, setting aside everything that Tiago was doing for, moving up 15 spots or whatever. But I mean, what we watched that whole incident go down, and Hibbs just kind of pushed through on the other side and was like, oh, that's how that goes.
How
Okay.
I worded it, just for the reference of everybody, is I said Richard Hibbs wrecked but didn't wreck. That's what the key was.
There was a lot of crashing going all around me, and when the smoke cleared, it was like, it might be one. What happened?
This car is still running. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh man, how describe what that was like, Rich? Like, what were you feeling? Like, you just like, oh man, is my car busted? Were you expecting to just be completely junked? Like, what was the
Well,
thought process there?
crest the hill and like just see all the cars just suddenly hammering the brakes, and I got into Brian, kind of just pile drived him into another car, and it was like, okay, the front's got to be absolutely smoked on this thing. But that spit me out to the left, and then that was the safe spot of the track.
Yeah, I think Morgan pushed you there too. I think Morgan was trying to dodge, and he doored you. It's kind of like, get down, Mr. President, to the left a little bit.
So I kind of like cracked it down a couple gears and started accelerating away. I'm like, steering wheel's straight. That's a positive. But a couple laps in, it was like, yeah, there's some serious understeer on this thing now.
Yeah,
I'll have to deal with it.
Yeah, steer and probably a little bit of aerodynamic, I'd imagine. Yeah, you looked like you were struggling on the straightaways a little bit.
Yeah, so it was. I wasn't surprised I lost a couple spots in the end of that sprint, and then the feature was just try to keep my nose clean and hope for the best. I knew I didn't.
You're one of the best out there at that, Richard. You unbelievable that car clean, and I said it too. It's just like Will was saying. This guy was in a wreck and he didn't wreck. Like I'm still just like I want it on a T-shirt with like the number 15 on the side of like you don't do that. Everybody else that had any damage from that had to pit, and you didn't, and it benefited you dearly in that heat race. That was so awesome. Another one of my favorite. I mean, a not so great moment that kind of created a pretty awesome moment.
Yeah, the feature for me was pretty boring. I knew I didn't really have the ultimate pace. I smacked one of the sausage curbs in the chicane pretty early. Like I was starting to catch Jimmy at one stage, and then smacked the curb, and it was like, and now I have absolutely no pace, and fell back. Morgan, there's not much I could do. He had to run into turn one. It was like, well, just go. There's no point in me fighting this at 20 minutes, 30 minutes to go. Like it's not going to do anything for me. Yeah. And then kept on falling back to the point where Brendan was up with me, and it's like, well, I'm still making mistakes. I'm hitting the curbs even more. So he got by me, and then he pitted one lap before I did. I didn't actually try to short fill. I used autofill as iRacing thing.
No. It was the calculator. It was the calculator. It was the calculator.
It was the calculator. I just used auto fuel, and I was actually surprised when it kicked me out because I'm like, no, that can't be enough fuel. And then I come out of the pits, and I'm like, why am I ahead? Like I came into the pits super slow. I was fully expecting to come out behind him, and then I guess the fast repair helped because suddenly it was like the car feels good. I can crack off almost as fast laps as I've been doing the whole entire race. And then I heard the scuffle up ahead, and it was like, I'm gonna see if I can get into this. And then we started catching some lapped cars that were trying to have a battle of their own, as well as get the lap back. I can't blame them for it, but it kind of made my life a little harder. So it was, I couldn't really get through. And then on the last lap, I'm not gonna make a Hail Mary and try to pass Morgan into one or anything like that, because it's gonna end up with two cars at the side of the track rather than two cars finishing. Mm-hmm. So
right. Did you see what had happened between him and Jimmy in your view?
Okay, nope, so just heard about it.
Know. Okay. Gotcha.
Well, I will say too, as closing thought, as you'd mentioned when Morgan caught up to you, that you just kind of let him go. And we were watching you guys at that point, and I had it on TV3 or TV2 at the time, and the camera was still behind the cars, kind of on pit wall, and you saw your brake lights light up a good like half a second or so before Morgan's. And I just want you to know I use that as an example of this is a faster car has caught me, and I'm going to make it benefit both of us for him to get by, because you guys lost about no time. So again, anybody watching, letting somebody by is not slow. It is faster to do that in certain situations when you can do it correctly than it ever would be to try to race that person and defend. Neither of you guys would have had a shot at Jimmy had that not happened. So,
I'm not gonna lie, I did figure it would probably be broadcast, so I did then release the break and at least make it look like we were having a little bit of a battle into the corner.
Hey man, you don't have to. You don't have to make action out of a situation. Doesn't require it.
I made sure that I was right at his bumper as we got into mid apex of turn 1, just to make it look like it was fully racing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
but
you gotta have
you
your
guys
smart
caught
man.
me.
Yeah, I mean, you guys run enough endurance races to know that fighting for a position at any point is very small in the grand scheme of things, and it proves it tonight. You get second. Kind of proof is in the pudding on that one. I think. So great job
There
tonight.
was no teamwork.
Yeah, no, none at all. Absolutely no. Well, I mean, there's teamwork, but it's like, I feel like if I was out there and I was driving, I'm not Morgan's teammate or anything, I'd have done the same damn thing. There's no way.
I don't want him on my bumper.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just gonna make a mistake.
Yeah, these guys are fast, man.
But Brendan says that, but then he tried to duel me into turn 1. The one lap I got a good run on him. So
hey, you gotta have your fun too, man. Listen, it's all good.
Yep.
Awesome stuff. Well, thanks, Rich. That was awesome race for you
No
tonight,
problem.
man. Way to keep
Thanks.
your nose clean. Good stuff. Yeah, I think he gets the Mr. Clean award, so I think I got to give it to him. Tiago's close.
Yeah.
But wrecking and not wrecking, I think, is what kind of puts it over the top for me.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah. Well, we got our one of our Texas boys up in here. Oh, D-Mac himself. And at one point during the stream, I was like, well, because I only saw 2 of you Texas boys out there tonight, you and Everly, and was at one point in the stream, I think you were lapping Everly or catching him in a different spot or something, and I was like, hey, you get to see the 2 Texas cars side by side or next to each other or whatever.
At which point?
Dang, sorry.
Yeah. Couple no, I came up on him. I know what you're talking about. That was the heat race. I came up on him. I said, "Don't let me pass. Race me." And so and he bested me, honestly. But yeah, then I was like, "All right, they're catching me. I gotta go, man."
Good stuff.
But yeah, a couple of us weren't here, unfortunately.
Hey, all good. You guys represented. Came away P5 tonight, all things considered. I think you tried to off yourself in T1 a couple times tonight, and
once in each race, yes, sir.
Yeah, so
consistency.
I for one appreciate the consistency. Yeah, I think it's great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I got all of my questions are going to come from chat tonight because Get Some J is still asking away. So he had a question earlier. He wanted me to ask you in this post race to talk about your Bud Light sponsorship in the pits. Got any updates for us on that, or?
Well, no, I wouldn't let any shitty beer company sponsor me.
Oh,
First
no.
of all, they're like Coors Light.
Oh no, you and Jimmy about to have it out in the pits. This isn't good.
No, I actually work for a beer distributor, and I assume that's probably where that came from.
Could be. And then his other question or his other point to say was, FYI, DMAC bought a vet last Monday. Pretty sure he's been practicing in it. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, actually, I bought my first Corvette the other day, and no, it didn't help at all. That Corvette is so much easier to drive than a GT3 car.
Yeah, well, you're probably not driving that vet as hard as you're driving this GT3 car either, so.
Be surprised.
I mean, I would be, and you know what? That's awesome. But very cool. Well, again, appreciate you coming out again. Always a great time having you here, Daniel. So glad that you could recover for a nice P5 tonight. On to next week. Bigger and better things for Texas Speed Boys.
Yes, sir. Hey, quick question on our drop weeks real fast.
Yeah.
So
you don't get any. You've got 5 Texas guys here, so none of the Texas guys get no drop weeks.
Understand that Will has no access to the points whatsoever.
We don't need them. We don't need those drop weeks.
Why?
Right.
But can we use our drop weeks on other drivers?
No, fortunately.
Oh. You
Okay,
want
I
to
could
use
really
yours on
use one
Jimmy?
on Morgan's first race. That would be great for the
Morgan, yeah.
championship.
Oh, I
Right.
see what you get.
Morgan and Jimmy. Yep. That's what I said. I was
Just
like, you want to use it on Jimmy or Morgan? Okay, I got
Bro,
you.
Just give me
I'll
0 points
sacrifice
for the whole season.
third.
IR.
That's a third party drop week in week 1. That's wild. That is
Right.
wild.
Hmm.
Good try though. Good try. Hey,
Uh,
if
I
adding
like it.
weight to their
Yeah.
cars doesn't work, you might as well see if you can just try to make their scores not count.
Hmm.
Fantastic.
it'll be in the suggestion box, sir.
Much
I loved
appreciated,
it.
Daniel. You're a riot, man. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate you.
Anytime, man.
All right, Will. And then there were 2.
Yeah, we got our last two, and I saved them for last for reasons. We got Morgan, of course, is in here, but I wanted to talk to Jimmy because first off, Jimmy, last week we gave you your cup holders back. You did well. I think we're gonna have to take them away. So no more cup holders for you next week. But no, amazing race. You guys, oh my goodness. I watched you guys go through and at one point it was like, oh, who's getting that 10 spot? In qualifying, right? And then it went from like, I don't know, whatever it was to one, 1-2, 2-1. And, you guys going back and forth in practice. Yeah, Jimmy, we did see, or I don't know if it was on stream. I saw, because I was in the session, that 49 that you posted in practice. And then you sandbag and get a 50 and give Morgan the number 1 spot. What are you doing, Jimmy? Come on, man.
Man,
Yeah.
so much about tonight I wish I could do differently. I had really high expectations for myself going into this one.
Mhm.
I love this track, and it's like probably the closest thing you can call the home track for me. Um, and I had high expectations for myself. I was really gunning for pole. I think had I not gone off in the last corner, I probably would have been very close, but that's just the least of my problems tonight. But I just gotta say, I like this one hurts a lot, and
Mhm.
I'm just incredibly disappointed in myself. Not only just throwing the race away, going off the corner all by myself, and then just going into full desperation mode. I literally I knew Bruno Morgan was close enough behind me where I honestly I wasn't even I didn't look at the relative until too late, and I thought he was going to be sailing right by me. I was just on the gas, pointing the car away from the wall, trying not to hit the wall, and then by the time I got close to the track, I was like, "Oh crap, I am going too fast. He's very close," and I got into him. And making zero excuses, like it was a total rookie boneheaded mistake, and that's just not the way I race. Um, so I'm just really glad that Morgan wasn't too beat up. His car wasn't too beat up at least.
You say that.
But well, I'm glad he was at least able to salvage, and he didn't totally ruin his race. But once I saw how much quicker I was like, I'm not one to give away races, but it just felt so wrong, and so I tried to give it back to
Mhm.
him, and ended up, penalizing myself a little bit more by getting third. But really
Karma's a
disappointed in
motherfucker.
myself. I know better than that. So and all I can do is
Yeah,
do
but
better next week. So
and that said, I mean, yeah, so you made a mistake in there, but I mean, the rest of the race, Jimmy, I mean, from practice to qualifying to heat to the feature, I mean, you and Morgan were just tearing it up. I mean, I'm not going to say it was completely flawless, but I mean, that one mistake is all that you could really claim for the night.
yeah, it was a big one. It's
It was. It
I
was.
know better than that. It was a really stupid mistake, and just again, I'm just glad Morgan was able to salvage out of that. But
Well, Jimmy, you and I have been racing uh, virtually for quite a long time. And I know
Together.
you're about to get Morgan's 2 cents on everything here in a moment, but we know, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. There's an etiquette to everything. We have, basically racing morals is a set of code, whatever you want to call it. Um, I knew that there was no purpose to that. There's no way that you would have done that on purpose. It was an accident through and through. It happens. Doesn't correct it. I understand that, but for all of the people that are watching this league every week, people like Chris, Rashana, some guys that are new, even people that maybe aren't even in the series that are just watching, they're new to iRacing, to watch you understand that situation and have the reaction to pull the car off to the side and hand the win back to Morgan at the end of the race. I mean, it's mistake is a mistake, but a class act is a class act too. I mean, that takes a lot of guts to do that too. So I don't, want to say everything's fine because you know what you did. I don't have to tell you, but you have to understand that there were decisions made in this race after that incident had occurred. That people watching, that's what a role model would do. So hats off. Appreciate you for being you, Jimmy. Every week, bringing the best, of the talent, but also the morality side of it, the rights and the wrongs, and setting a precedent for others to follow to make some pretty great race car drivers in the future off of the things that you. Thank you for that. Hats off. Go be upset now if you want to. That's fine. I give you permission, but understand that after that point, I think it could have been handled any better. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. We're about to get Morgan's, so you'll maybe feel
Yeah,
more or less
no, I
vindicated.
appreciate it.
But
I know. Yeah, I just let desperation
I
get the
can't.
best of me, and I
Yep.
honestly, I swear to God, like I didn't realize he was gonna be there. Like
I know you didn't.
I knew he was like 2 seconds behind me, and I was just like, well, there goes the race. Good job, Morgan. Like, I was just like, neither one of us were making big enough like, granted, like we were pretty close on pace, but he was catching me the whole time because of like small mistakes I was making here and there, and I knew how close he was, and if I made a mistake like that, it was game over. That I should have been, doing what we preach and looking at the relative and keeping an eye on like where the hell I am instead of just desperately trying to get back on track. So, but in the end, I can't complain with third. I probably deserved worse than that, but but yep, that's all I gotta say. Congrats, Morgan, and apologize.
Well, I mean, you preach it, so we talk about it, and I get it, but you owned up to it, Jimmy. So don't discredit yourself for that. And I appreciate you coming out tonight, buddy. On to week 7.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Right on, right on. It also goes to show that, no matter how much time you've got in, you still can make mistakes, no matter how good you are.
Racing
It's
so
what you
hard.
do when you make those mistakes that really, counts.
Racing so
So,
hard, man.
yeah. Yeah, and now that brings us to Morgan, and I've been a huge Morgan fan all season, obviously. So, whatever. But Morgan, I mean, you and Jimmy have been, it was the Morgan and Jimmy show the whole time. From practice, like I said to Jimmy, from practice to qualifying to the heat to the feature. I mean, you guys just rocked it out the entire time, all the way up until the end there. And then the super phenomenal part of this is we saw how broke your car was. We saw how hard it was for you to do literally anything in that car. And you're still passing lap cars. You're still, making headway, taking it all the way to the end. I mean, that's major talent. Not taking anything away from Jimmy or any of the other guys, but I mean, that's some serious talent there. And I think Ben even mentioned that. I mean, dude, how hard was that to keep that car going?
Oh, it was rough. It did not want to turn right at all, but just eventually figured it out. I mean, at the end of the day, this Lime Rock's a track where you go shockingly faster by going slower in many places. So I was able to start to figure it out there towards the end, but it was tough. And you know what? Mistakes happen. I mean, obviously, in the heat of the moment, I will definitely have to mute everything I said during the race for when I put the video up. But class act from Jimmy, making it right at the end. And these things happen. You guys already said, mistakes happen, and what the pros crash. And I don't think any of us are pros, so it's hard to expect perfection when the professionals can't even do it all the time. So it's just one of those things.
And Lime Rock's a beast. It's a tough, tough, tough track. How IMSA does multi-class races here is beyond me. But yeah, it's definitely something.
Right on. Well, I know constantly talk about our Will constantly talks about loving watching you dance up through the field. It seems like your
I
ability
do. I talk
to
about it all the time.
your ability to luck out in both the heat and the feature on the same week is just not something that can happen. Getting involved in that wreck early on in the heat, then having to drive your way back up through the field. Talk me through. You get to second place very early on in the feature. You get around the rest of the cars that you need to, and then you've kind of got that open track. And Jimmy was, gosh, I want to say like 3.5 to 4 seconds ahead of you, depending upon where about on the track you guys were. What was going through your mind? You like, am I going to catch this guy, or were you thinking too much about maybe his fastest qualifying time being in the 49s and you maybe not being able to pull that off?
Yeah, I on pace, I wasn't crazy worried because I saw he was fast, but I also know that I'm capable of 49s here. I just, for whatever reason, couldn't pull it out in practice. But that made me feel pretty good that we had, a nice even fight that we could have, and it was just going to come down to who could navigate traffic better and who could make the least amount of mistakes. And so at that stage, after getting into second, the first thing that went through my mind is, wow, I lucked out in a couple of places. Rich was awesome and let me by. Brandon, I think, didn't chose not to fight very hard and was awesome and gave me a shot by. And um, I knew at that point when I got there, it's like, wow, I got here really quickly, and some of these guys, I really pushed the car to get by them. And are my tires going to hold up? And that ended up actually coming into play a little bit later. But once I kind of got that out of my head, I was like, all right, we're going to settle into a rhythm. This is going to be a contest of who can keep it cleanest, the longest. And I just, kept trying to chip away. I was just keeping on the pressure because at that stage it was his race to lose, which is a way more difficult position to be in than the one chasing because you already know where you're at, and it's like second place is pretty good. If I get first, I get first. But when you're in first and somebody's putting the heat on and like, okay, they're matching me, it's like, oh my god. Then you start thinking about them, and sometimes it messes with you. And he held on to it for a long, long, long time. I didn't see the incident that took him off track, but this track sometimes it bites at the weirdest time, and that was a lucky moment for me that turned unlucky. That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, we're handing out nicknames left, right, and center. Cup holders for Jimmy, Noodle Man for Sean, whatever we got. Well, I've got one for Morgan for you. You ready for this?
Is it the correct pronunciation of his last name?
No, it's never that.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Teggy, by the way. Get some.
Hey,
good
job.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with this, and you guys let me know what you feel. So I'm gonna say Iceman because there's nobody with like the cold blood, man. It just no flinch all race. You had crash it into you. There's people that they get an incident and then it ruffles their feathers and they can't recover. Stuff happening, lap traffic, pinching happening around you, and I'm gonna have to watch your YouTube video, Morgan, when it goes up because I need to see how many times you blinked tonight. Unbelievable performance, dude. Heck of a job. Super fun to watch
What?
you. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Do you are you gonna have sound on this one or no?
We'll find out in post, but
Always an
maybe.
adventure. Always an adventure. Well, yeah, I had a lot of fun tonight. It was really cool from an admin perspective to not have to throw a yellow full course. I think I may have, had I, seen the incident there in the heat, may have wanted to throw one if I saw it soon enough. But by the time that I really got over to understanding what was happening, I think most of it had cleared up, and everybody thankfully kind of sorted themselves out and went on their merry way. I'm not saying it was a great time for everybody, but it worked itself out. Otherwise, we had some great racing, a couple incidents here and there, but I mean, we're trying to defy that law of physics. It says two objects can't occupy the same space at the same time. Guys are race car drivers. And yet we have not figured it out, minus maybe a couple netcode incidents, but we will keep trying until then. It makes for some fantastic racing, and that's what we saw tonight for about every position that was out there. So that was a good race. That was a good recovery from caution incidents the last couple weeks. I'm very pleased with how tonight went. Well, what are your thoughts?
I really had a lot of fun. I mean, I think last week we had some cautions and stuff, but we got to see the racing that we wanted to see from everybody at different points in the race. This week, like I said, it was the Morgan and Jimmy show. Although at one point it was the Tiago and Sean show too,
Yeah.
running through the pack. But like you said, the first thing you said as in the driver's brief was I want to have a no full course cautions thrown
Yep.
tonight. If we can do it, and we did. I don't think that you could have thrown that caution in that heat and had any real different outcome.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have made a difference personally, but again, I don't know, whatever. But it was a great race, and I loved watching Jimmy and Morgan battling back and forth like that tonight. Things happened, and even after all of that, you get to see, you know, Jimmy's class act of the morality coming out, the whole Captain America feature, and then Morgan's I can make anything, I can drive anything with wheels. What's the guy in Gone in 60 Seconds? Anything with wheels, I can drive that.
And some things without, right?
Right, and some things without. So
Some
yeah,
things are
I mean,
jacked up.
yeah, so it was a really great race. I enjoyed it thoroughly as a spectator, and I appreciate all that you guys do, in how you do it, the talent that it takes. So, great job to everyone out there.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. So in closing, wrap it up here and kind of push us on to next week, or not, sorry, next week. I'm sorry, tomorrow, I should say, where we take the stock cars to Dover. That's going to be a lot of fun. Should be a little bit interesting on the hold on, hold on to your wheel kind of aspect. Lots of looseness with the cars, getting out of the corners and everything. So hopefully we can have more green flags than we had at Martinsville last week. Obviously, that's over on PTM Racing TV with our boy Chris running the show over there from his side. And yeah, I just super fun tonight. Glad we got through it. What's up, Will?
Well, one last thing before we go. I mentioned it last week, and I wanted to try and make it a habit to mention it every week. Join the Discord. Go into self promos. Most of these guys do their own perspectives. Do their own. Like Morgan, he's going to upload his stuff later on. A lot of these guys have their own thing. The more you guys go over there and check them out, the more that they're going to want to put out that content. So, I mean, go join the Discord. Go to the self promo section and look at everybody that's putting out stuff. It doesn't even have to be the race tonight. There's content out there from other races, from other activities. So,
Yep.
Join the Discord and check them out.
Yeah, and Morgan's got a great set of videos to help out newer drivers or drivers looking to kind of step their game up on some more racing aspects. I know some other guys probably in the same boat. Haven't convinced Jimmy to get into content creation yet, but we're getting there. But yeah, so good stuff. Links for the Discord are in the description, by the way. So thanks, Will, for that. Shameless plug, but not so shameless. Get in here. We have a great time. This community is awesome, and it's the community that makes it. So come join the fun. And that's all I got for tonight. So thank you for everybody joining us. Have a fantastic evening. We'll see you over on PTM Racing TV tomorrow, and then we'll see you next Tuesday for some Week 7 action. Thanks, all.